the side of RIT. Nothing doing on point number 2 proper.
Yeah, so again, another win condition is set here for RIT, and for Wichita State University, they're going to hope that they can hold point A for as long as possible. Easier said than done. Temple of Anubis, you rarely see full holds, even all the way up to the echelons of the Overwatch League, but for RIT to take point A, are just looking at 33% to take on point B. That first tick is all they need to win out this map and then lead 2-1 heading into Junkertown, which is our guaranteed 4th map in this first to 3 series. So Wichita State University, again, you know, they are really struggling, and it's really easy to say that ESOL was just playing Junkrat to such a high degree, but it's even less than that. I mean, ESOL was just sitting back and was just spamming certain choke points once they knew where Wichita State University were going to. And Wichita State University, I want to say through 3, if not 4 attempts to take point B, they went through dark. For some odd reason, they continuously pushed their way through the cavern of point B Temple of Anubis, where ESOL was just able to find so much easy damage with all of Junkrat's kit. They had a Riptire almost every single fight tug, but you can't let that happen. So now for Wichita State University, they're going for that full hold composition. Going to be rolling out with Kellic on the Sigma and Fluffy but Deadly on the Reinhardt. So double shield action. You don't have the Zarya bubbles or defense matrix from a Diva to keep Fluffy but Deadly sustained during the disengage, but Flexecution is on to this Torbjorn. Going to be a little bit of a 7th player vendetta for WSU on their defense, hoping that they can find a lot of value with the Torbjorn to be able to dissuade Rochester, to be able to put themselves in a position where they can win a team fight. They're rolling out on a hybrid composition. Link FD is on the Winston, Blue Jay on the Zarya, so those bubbles are going to be peril to keep Link FD alive when they are looking for those dives. It's going to be really tough to find a coordinated dive with this Winston against the composition of for WSU.
A bit of a wonky composition, like Proper is saying. Definitely agree with that one. So far, though, Link has already gotten almost 50% to his ultimate. That is huge. ESOL just ripping through these Junkrat mines. Now a dive in here, no bursting on the other side, so once you're done, you're done. No respawns for you. Torbjorn getting a lot of attention here. Flexecution not able to live through it, and that is a handed W for the side of RIT. They're going to get, what, 6 minutes looking at second?
Yeah, just going to be a little over 5 coming into this upcoming bout for point B, and it was a little bit of a misplay coming up from Wichita State University. Again, you have the Winston just speeding at you. They didn't even leap. Take a disengage. Don't give them the space. Kellic's now swapping over to the Zarya. This is a late Zarya, keep in mind you, and you have a lot of attempts for Rochester Institute of Technology to take this final point, or the final tick, I should say, as ZP Link has the Coalescence online. We're going to have a battle of the Lighthouses here, but the real talk is how long it's going to take for ESOL to get this Riptire, because that's a team fight winning ultimate within its own self, the way that RIT has been using it all new this long.
Yeah, RIT back to the cavern over here. Fluffy but Deadly falling first. That's going to be very good for RIT. Now we got a Primal Rage over here. Link FD is sitting where he wants to. Torbjorn ult out, covering this point completely. Flexecution doing a good job covering, just spreading this one around. Anybody who's going to be touching point, trying to take the next few seconds, not going to bode well for them. Chalkaman getting very low, and there's the grab. That's what he was looking for all throughout. Focusing beam out, and takes out not 1 but 2 on that. Kellic and the Moira both falling on that. ZP Link, or excuse me, that was Seed, not able to live through that one. RIT, a very, very solid push. Wichita State, a fantastic defense.
Yeah, Hanny, you're never going to take this unless you have sufficient numbers. The spawn, again, is so far away from the offensive side. Link FD is going to swap back over to the Winston. ESOL has that Riptire online coming in this upcoming fight. And Actual has a sound barrier, so you're going to be able to dictate the pace of this. And there's the focus beam for you. Kellic stepping a little bit too close to the sun, having a little bit of an unfortunate situation there.
Oh, sound barrier out beforehand completely negates out the SL Riptire. That's going to be one of the first that he does not get a lot of value from. Dynamite getting super low here as well, but the supports on him, that's his Seed Moira, as well as the big Reaper shots, the Hellfire Shotgun shots, getting his back, and just like that, another very quick team fight. Defense 1, Blue Jay not able to get out of this one.
Link FD is swapping over to the Reinhardt. Blue Jay is 15% away from a Graviton Surge, and because Foxicon had to use that sound barrier to counteract the SL in their Riptire in the previous fight, means that there's no defensive ultimate online for Wichita State in this upcoming fight against a Graviton Surge. Kellic will have theirs online as well. C's going to have to be able to stay alive in this upcoming Graviton Surge from Blue Jay to make sure they use the Coalescence to not only keep their team sustained, but to be able to find a lot of damage against the Graviton Surge that Kel is going to be looking to drop. You're going to be looking at Essel to be able to drop the mines and being able to find this displacement damage to dissuade Fluffy but Deadly from cleaving through the Graviton Surge. This is a last fight if I've ever seen it.
Essel getting super low there, and does happen. There's a grab as well. 3 minutes 20, only 1 tick necessary, and RIT not able to get that one out. A lot easier said than done. You have a supercharged Kellic Zarya on the side of Wichita State. Seed falling. Rest of RIT still fighting at this one, though. There's a Tora Bolt, so they got a lot of value in just simply requiring this to be pulled, right? Just simply Blue Jay staying there, pulled out another WSU ultimate.
And I said that was going to be the last fight because RIT had all the tools to be able to win out that fight in their favor, but ZP Link went down so early, so the tanks were unable to stay alive. C did a great job of being able to sustain themselves and then drop the Coalescence. This was all done without a sound barrier from Foxconn. So we're down to 2 minutes and 35 seconds. This started the entire endeavor about 3 minutes and 30 seconds ago. So WSU were doing a great job, and they have a Fluffy but Deadly Reinhardt Earthshatter Dynamite with a Death Blossom, but ESO's going to let it rip. Here comes the Reptire. Great sound barrier again from Foxconn.
Fantastic sound barrier. Might have wanted to turn tail and actually taken out the turret. Does not get sound barrier, of course. No value gained from that. Blue Jay does turn his attention to that one later as members falling from both sides. Dynamite done. No Death Blossom for them, but ESO, Link, FD both deleted as well. RIT on the back foot. Now a switch from Essel from the Junkrat on over to the Reaper.
And Kellic is now outpacing Blue Jay heavily for a defensive Zarya to maintain charge and to get this Graviton Surge on every other fight is very big for Wichita State University's success in defending this to push it to a draw and guaranteeing a 5th map in this series. Still a minute and 50 seconds left to play. RIT coming into this next fight. They do have double support ultimates. Link FD is about to have an Earth Shatter, and Choco Man does have a duplicate as well. So, coming into this next fight, WSU, they can dictate the pace of this just off of their tank ultimates alone.
Now, has anybody won coming from this side so far? I have to wonder. Fluffy but Deadly following some well-placed Reaper shots. There's the Death Blossom, mostly blocked off by the Reinhardt shield, but while that Reaper is trying to get it done there, Dynamite had good pacing on it, but doesn't matter. The entirety of RIT gets up there, blocks off damage, and more. It's RIT now taking the lead, losing game 1, but not games 2 and 3.
Yeah, so very tough coming out from Wichita State University. Like I said, they could have dictated the entire pace of that fight, having double tank ultimates, but there was double support ultimates online for RIT. So you use the Graviton Surge in this final fight that we see here in the play of the game from ZP Link's perspective, and then you just take a soft disengage, and then immediately try to turn around the corner with the Earth Shatter plus the Death Blossom as well. That was how you were going to be able to win that fight. Obviously, it didn't come down to it. It's very chaotic when you are in the heat of Overwatch, when it is just 33% needed to win, to lose a Temple of Anubis map like that. But it's those little fundamentals, those micro decisions that have to come through if you want to be a championship caliber team, especially through all these collegiate leagues, Wichita State University, because again, it was very easy for RIT turning that back on its head. They had the double support ultimate, sound barrier, counter-rocked against a Graviton Surge, plus the Coalescence to just bulldoze through. And then again, we got to look at Choco Man and just praise them heavily for their duplicate pick. Yeah, the Echo pick is great, but it's the duplicates that they're taking. I've only seen one bad duplicate that came through, and that was onto a Lucio in the previous map of Eichenwald. But still, taking the tanks forms and even the Moira on their previous defense are all very good picks because it's just going to be able to push yourself to the next level to winning out a team fight.
The big idea there to me, of course, is the versatility, right? Like knowing that sometimes it's just not always tanks. Yes, it is very nice. Pull that Zarya, pull that Reinhardt, get that Shatter or that grab very, very quickly. Those can decide team fights all day long, but sometimes you simply need that Coalescence or that extra little bit of damage or healing, or the extra little big bit of healing, I should say, coming up into that before you do get that Coalescence some point in that 15 seconds. Now, moving on along here, Junkertown, a map favorite here, proper background.
I mean, I personally like this map just because it offers a lot of double sniper on point A. Many would disagree with me, but I'm a big fan of Widowmaker themselves and being able to see the team fight making or breaking from that one Widowmaker player. Rochester Institute of Technology will be on defense first again. No side swaps coming through. They're going to stick on this Roadhog and Sigma composition, something that we saw from them back on Eichenwald. They didn't play it on Temple of Anubis. And they only have one sniper. You know, previously when Vanguard was in, they were playing the Hanzo. Now Choco Man will be playing out that Hanzo role. Was almost going to expect a Widowmaker to come out from them, but it's going to be Essel that's still in. They're going to go over towards the Soldier 76, which did get a very nice buff in a previous patch. Again, you got a little bit more bullets to the pulse rifle. You don't have just random spread. It's all coming down to recoil control. Wichita State University for the offense. Going to be looking and keeping a close eye on Dynamite and Fluxecution. Can they play off on different angles for Junkertown and find the picks necessary for Wichita State University to get card control?
It is definitely possible. We've seen what these two snipers can do before. Saying and doing, oh my goodness, saying and doing are not two different things apparently. Dynamite, two big headshots, both DPS deleted instantly, and Wichita State's gonna have a very handed advantage coming in to this first point. Already, what, halfway there proper?
Yeah, this is still good. I mean, RIT, because of the spawns and how far the card still has to go, you can get yourself back into a defensive state around the second bend, around the Mega Pack side. And Link FD still here. They're still on the Roadhog.
Yeah, Diva will be his hook target at some point, but nice reses. Foxicon actually getting out the first of his actual all over that one, as well as Choco Man takes out his counter by a little Hanzo on Hanzo action. Back and forth here on the middle of point. I think that Link FD and the rest of Rochester Institute Technology have stabilized for the time being. This is just Wichita trying to posture around, find better positioning to take in this next team fight before they all get healed up. Kellic getting all the attention in the world as Dynamite finds another headshot. Choco Man, the longer range damage capabilities from Rochester temporarily disabled.
Yeah, I don't think this is in a resible state either. Foxconn is opening things up with her Valkyrie, and they've been doing a great job of trying to keep the team alive, but ZP opens up with a big anti-nade.
A lot of ultimates back and forth as the Nano hits, shattered down right as Link was trying to get a big hook in there. Would have been a different story. Now, self-destruct over the top, the pool shot hits nothing, as now the last little bit of aimbot finishes. Essel up top, got that boost as well, trying to find, nicely done. Turns the last little turn at the bottom, gets those Vortex rockets out. Now Baby Diva is his target.
Yeah, and Essel just has to hope and pray that they don't get chased down, and Kellic off the res will get the remech, and then will immediately instant themselves back in the fight. Great use of defense matrix to eat the sleep dart, but not the bile nade, so Kellic will lose their mech again. And through all is said and done, RIT are finding themselves up on numbers with Link FD reinserting themselves into the fight. Last-ditch attempt, now the whole hog is out to play.
Okay, so nicely done. Link FD pulls this, but Kellic Girl realizes what they need to do. Come up, give a little bit of attention there, a little bit of defense matrix action, and Fluffy Buddy is able to get out of dodge in a situation there is not guaranteed an escape otherwise. Diva mech down. Other than that, team's fighting even once Essel comes back. See now switching on over to the Moira.
1 minute and 20 seconds left. This has Eichenwald Point B written all over it here, Tugboat, and you got that long walk to worry about. You got a Dragon Strike online. You're about to have a Gravitic Flux. Actual is about to have their Valkyrie. Foxconn has theirs. They're going to see who's going to be able to pull theirs out early. Fluxecution is over to their own Soldier 76. This is going to come down 100% to the Earth Shatter from Fluffy but Deadly. Can they find two? And will there be any follow-up from Wichita State University now that Foxconn popped their Valkyrie?
Fluxecution, getting some longer range damage out. Gravitic Flux out. Fluffy but Deadly not in a great position for that one. Aimbot still there, turns tension towards the Moira. Not gonna matter, forces them back. That's Essel just absolutely corralling. I have to assume that was on purpose, right?
Well, I mean, the Gravitic
he comes
Flux
around, knows that the dragons are coming in, so he takes aimbot around the side.
Well, you even talked about it too in the previous map on Eichenwald. The Gravitic Flux isn't the bread and butter combo along with the Dragon Strike, but that's the power of those two ultimates right there. You use the Nano Visor just to be able to find a good bit of follow-up damage. It's not always going to find all of the sufficient kills, but it was a great use from RIT from their ultimates in that previous fight. Now Wichita State University find themselves in the absolute last fight territory. Fluffy but Deadly is taking so much poke damage and they get anti, they can't even use the Earth Shatter.
Just anti, bullied, everything in between. Not a whole lot to be done there. Overtime just barely triggered this at the end. Wichita fighting this without their main tank for the time being. Blue Jay down as well. Offense so close here. RIT down, Actual being the last after Choco Man. Full team kill. And now is that going to be one of our first bells? I can't remember if there's if we've got a full 6 killed.
I honestly can't remember, but all I can tell you is that Wichita State University did a great job in swapping up their DPS lineup again. Flexecution comes back out on what they seem to be most comfortable on, and that is the Sombra. And now they have a full-on Brawl composition. Kellic was able to maintain a little bit of charge. They're working towards a Graviton Surge and Dynamite on this Reaper. They bullied those tanks of Link FD and Blue Jay off the cart, leaving RIT alone with just squishy targets. But they can dictate this upcoming fight here, Tugboat. They got the Dragon Strike. They're about to have Link FD's Whole Hog as well. RIT have the ultimate advantage, surely, but they got to worry about Wichita State University, mostly Flexecution, who is building this EMP so quickly.
Yeah, 78% there. Now 90. Shatter inside, and that's going to find a lot of advantage. Fluffy but deadly, actually charging into a Dragon Strike. That's a that's a guaranteed you're going to have a bad time, Proper.
It's going to be a bad time, but it's still a team fight victory. This will be the point B capture. So Wichita State University, through a 3 capture point map, we'll finally see the third and final part of that map. Yes, you lost 2, but again, Wichita State University, my blood pressure can only take so much. Stop putting yourself in dark corridors when you're going up against a strong projectile DPS like a Hanzo and a Junkrat. Going into this next fight, you got the double DPS ultimates online. You're about to have double support ultimates, and Foxicon, she has to hold on to this upcoming sound barrier, and they have to build it very quickly because Blue Jay does have the Gravitic Flux online. This is where a lot of damage can be free. The Gravitic Flux is going to bring players up and make it all the more easier for Essel and ZP Link to find a lot of value with their Nano Visor.
Comes the MP. Everybody's shut down on this one. Link FD barely getting out of that one, but that's a big one. Death Blossom from above. Little death from above on that one is RIT now fighting on the back foot in every way, shape, and form. Now, RIT came into this with 5 ultimates up. Chocolate Man was the only one. They got an entire team kill victory, entire team fight win off the solo dragons. We've been talking so much about just the effectiveness, the usefulness of using these one ultimate team fights, and that is exactly what RIT wants. Link FD, switch on the Reinhardt.
Yeah, it was a good idea, especially for this last point. You can only expect the Blue Jay will probably swap over to the D.Va once they use this Gravitic Flux. But Chocolate Man finds a very early pick. So Wichita State University, they got to decide, do we disengage or do we try to go all in? And they look like they're trying to go for a little reprieve and take this from a different angle.
Yeah, no reason to let up now. Gravitic Flux out. There's a lot of people taking this as the RIT's ultimates all used except for Chocolate Man's newly acquired dragons. Nothing glowing on the side of Wichita State. Still rolling in as a nasty purple links to Link FD, getting a lot of value, swinging away and hits the fences.
Yeah, it was a very interesting choice from Wichita State University to decide that we should still try to win out this fight, knowing that RIT have the positional advantage of playing the defense of Point C of Junkertown. Inching towards last fight territory because of how long of a walk that you have, you can cut it short by going through the Mega Pack. This is where Chocolate Man's going to be able to find a lot of value. They got the Dragon Strike online. Link FD is also having an Earth Shatter. Blue Jay swaps over to the Zarya. Wichita State University are caught in between a Heart Place and 2 Hungry Dragons.
Yeah, that's not sure which one is worse. Fluffy but deadly. Foxconn both down. Exual falling in the thick of things to a well-placed Coalescence. And this one actually fighting decently even for right now. I say that. Dynamite coming through with an explosive pick on this one. Sleeping a Snoozing Reaper is going to be good for your defense as a nasty purple lands onto Kellic. Does have personal
no way they live
this away, but not going to matter. Yeah, so Link FD still swinging away. Got a Reaper beforehand, and he is not done yet proper. Foxicon falls to a well-placed charge on that, and Kellic is just doing a great job getting all the damage in the world. Both bubbles back. We checked in with Dynamite for a second. He's going to be doing okay as Fluffy but Deadly and Kellic both fall.
5 seconds left here in Wichita State University. They're not going to really have sufficient numbers to be able to take this fight. But Dynamite takes down Essel, so this is looking a little bit more doable. Big Sleep Dart goes over to Dynamite. That should surely be the Reaper down. Wichita State University are still trying to keep themselves going in this fight.
Dynamite down, Sleeping Link down. Team's fighting decently even. There's a Shatter, but only gets 2. Foxicon barely gets out of dodge on that one as the Coalescence coming out overtime all the way through as we're looking at 3.5 meters away. Fluffy but deadly out. Main tank's only supported here from Rochester, and that is going to be a Blue Jay grab on top just to give a little present, a little glowing ball of energy on top of our payload.
CP Link had no business living that long on Ana. Had absolutely no business. But you can also tip your hat and thank your counter support of Actual that in that staggering fight that they came back out on Brigitte and was able to not only peel for them, but was able to throw armor packs from afar to be able to keep them sustained. There's no way that Kellic was going to be able to laser beam them off, especially when you have Link FD's big Reinhardt barrier just blocking all of that incoming damage. And you also got to be able to sing the praise for ZP Link to hold on to their cooldowns as long as possible, not using it to oversaturate the healing from RIT, or just using the sleep dart that single time to be able to put Dynamite to rest twice on over. So it was a great usage of all the kit from ZP Link to keep themselves alive, and also from their co-support to be able to help them out, as well as the tank line. So now another win condition is set here. 98 meters inside of the final capture point for RIT to push on through after capturing 2 points here on Junkertown. To be able to win out the entire series, it's going to have to be a almost full hold or last staggering fight on point C of what we just saw from Wichita State University to send ourselves to a 5th and final map. Now, this is a really wise idea.
Being quiet.
This is a really smart idea. You'll see this typically from the other side, but you want to take very early fights so that way you're not only going to build ultimates very early for yourself, but you're guaranteeing yourself another team fight in the upcoming fight as well to get a lot of information out of RIT and to build your own ultimates at the same time.
Wow, yeah, just absolutely getting after it here. That's the Lucio speed boost assisted. Flexecution is really the one that set up a couple of those after the attempted wall off action here. I don't think they fell to the wall so much, but still 2 players off the side after everybody chased that one down. Essel now switching on over to that Reaper, gonna try and get up close and personal with probably Kellegirl, mostly his counterpart, the Reaper. That's Dynamite. Flexecution as well will feel the fire from these Hellfire shotguns. Wait, what am I?
It's going to come out onto the Bastion as well. And the Lego Bastion, well, it shoots all those 2 pieces that you step on late at night, and that's not a good place to be in. Wichita State are going to be caught off on a disengage, but this is so good for Wichita State University. They were able to build a handful of ultimates. Flexecution actually swaps over to the Sombra in the upcoming fight, too. And, well, now the Payload of Doom is in full effect here. This is going to be really tough for Wichita State to try to work themselves back into this point. Flexecution's going to have to hope to find a very key hack. But there's a lot of counter spy abilities online for RIT. Choco Man does have the infrared sight online, so Flexecution's not going to hide for long.
Alright, we got the pirate ship going here proper on Junkertown. I'd have it no other way. A place for outlaws indeed. Essel up top. He's switching on over the turret form soon. Falls down. I think that was intentional. Just absolutely melts Dynamite. This is a Bastion that is just deciding the course of this team fight every way, shape, and form. Now, formation coming through. Blue Jay, Choco both falling, even with the Bastion ultimate going through, swinging away and deciding it's time to come down. And that is a Link FD perfect play to cover off the Bastion, realizing that his DPS is just so much. Getting it done here, swapping team fight momentum all the way for Wichita State, and they'll be rolling on into point soon.
Yeah, that's what's gonna say on this Bastion as well. You only really traded out a handful of your friendlies there, RIT, but Wichita State University do an unfortunate work in trying to split out their numbers, trying to chase not only the Bastion but the tank line as well. They're actually gonna re-enter themselves back in this fight. Fluffy but Deadly has a Earth Shatter online, but Blue Jay has the Gravitic Flux.
Gravitic Flux to definitely be used soon. Be used soon as Flexecution dies. There's a sound barrier that did drop. 90 seconds in, so this is not close to done quite yet. It'll be very hard for them to get in, though. Fluffy but Deadly already used that charge. He was eyeing this Bastion, knowing exactly what he wants to do. Fluffy but Deadly trying to get away from this one. 1.95 meters away as ZP Link does get the res, and Rochester Institute Technology comes through a slapping proper.
This is one of the slowest EMPs that I've seen Flexecution build so far, and that's part of the reason why RIT are just getting away with how strong of a payload push that you are seeing through point A. 3 minutes and 35 seconds left for them to continue to push on through point B. Wichita State University will swap over to the Diva. That defense matrix is going to be very, very influential to how quickly Wichita State can work their way towards the cart. But with the Orisa, with the Sigma, the damage-boosted Bastion, plus Choco Man on the Widowmaker, think about all of the poke damage that Wichita State University have to work their way through. And Shields received a nerf quite some time ago. So Wichita State University have to be quite careful. They got to be quite literally walking on eggshells to make their way to this point.
Yeah, what we saw a team getting a little quiet and sneaky with earlier. We have to see that channeled once again. Now the tank formation out. Essel trying to deal out the damage here. A complete eat here. Yeah, so Kellegirl and the Diva, that is 100% going to continue to find them value. Pairing that with an EMP from Flexecution has led to entire team kills by themselves, just in 2 ultimates. So this one is still going on. Both teams just kind of posturing. I'm kind of surprised, actually, that Wichita invested that one towards the end.
Well, that was a
seemed like
one-team fight for RIT,
Yeah,
all things
I guess.
included. They had the numbers advantage. So Wichita State University, I mean, they flip up the speed boost after Seed pulled the Coalescence. They put them all the way back up in the high ground. And then with the Death Blossom to come on through, they were stacked up. No defense matrix, no Gravitic Grasp to come through from Blue Jay to eat up all of that damage. So Wichita State University did a great job. So now they can dictate this upcoming fight. Essel is off the Bastion. They're over to the Reaper. And like you were talking about, the EMP is online here for Flexecution, but Kellic doesn't have a self-destruct. They're on the Zarya to help out Fluffy but Deadly.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. The classic Zarya Reinhardt. Oh, the shatter down, and that one just forecasted like the weatherman. Link FD has provided so much value for his team on this main tank, and that continues there with him seeing the future.
Again, Link FD continues to get the better of Fluffy but Deadly as far as blocking and finding Earth Shatters go. So that team fight will flip back on its head. RIT are back in control of the cart, and it looks like that Wichita State University want to reinsert themselves into this fight. Flexecution is fishing over by the billboard for this EMP, and the speed boost is about to be online here for Foxicon.
There's 4 of them. ZP Link, Choco Man, the only one's not in there. Does not matter. Oh my goodness. We are all you right now, Proper. We are all holding our heads like that. Like, you have everything there, and you just don't wait the extra 2 seconds for your team to get there?
Yeah, when you are looking for an EMP, I mean, you got to make sure that you find at least a support or two. ZP had the Nano Boost online, and then the Focus Fire Student Follow was just not there for Wichita State University. It's a very tough place to be in, especially with how spaced out that RIT were playing. You also have Choco Man that was just damn near uncontested, and now RIT have control of the high ground, top of the fidget spinner as well. Wichita State University quick to take that back from them, but the team fight's got to be very quick here, and Seed knows that. They pulled the Coalescence out early.
That was Link who got hacked earlier, shattered down. It's going to be Link FD who actually whips one now. Forced to come back a little bit is RIT, but they're going to be maintaining this yardage very well like they have done throughout. Kellic trying to pour this one out. Actual's Valkyrie going to be done in the second. There's a Gritic Flux. That has a couple in it, but the Sound Barrier going to negate out any benefit they would have gotten. Shield just getting absolutely deleted here as Rochester now pulls out Sights. Walls seen from Choco Man. Continuing on here, there's the grab and a 100 laser. Zarya is a bad nightmare indeed.
Wichita State University, I mean, they're able to find at least a few eliminations with the Gravitic Flux, but there's still members for RIT here. They're still trying to make their presence felt, but now they're going to go for a full on disengage. Seed opened up with a Coalescence, has another Coalescence in this upcoming fight. This staggering at the end might end up coming back to bite them in the rear, but CP, another Nano Boost comes online, but Blue Jay can't sustain through all the damage. A blistering stagger that comes through on RIT's side. Now Wichita State University, they have the ultimate advantage and the space awareness as well to be able to control and dictate the upcoming fight, not only from positioning themselves with their tanks, but also look at the ultimates online. Seed, yes, use the Coalescence, that's fine, but you have an EMP, you've got an Earth Shatter and a Death Blossom. These ultimates have been good for WSU all day long.
Execution taking down his counterpart, but Actual all over that one. A full 6 for RIT again as Actual's Valkyrie now out as well. Getting everything done. That's a big EMP. The Death Blossom coming through, making mincemeat here. Oh my goodness. Choco Man was able to get out in a way, but RIT otherwise completely deleted.
Count your blessings here if you are RIT that team fight ended very quickly and your spawn's so close. You're going to be able to get a one last ditch effort to get control of this card. But look at Wichita State University's ultimate pool. Foxconn has the Sound Barrier. Blue Jay nowhere near that Graviton Surge. So they can use that as soon as Essel pulls out the Riptire, and Kellic has the Graviton Surge of their own.
Essel a little far away from that one, but the Sound Barrier lands, negating out what value the Death Blossom had, and Essel just ripping and running here, blasting away, making, oh man, any shot for Wichita State to get back out here, just completely negating that one out. A little bit of cleanup on point here. RIT gonna be rolling on for the time being. They gotta take this all the way though, Proper.
Great job from Link FD again. Earth Shatter inside the Graviton Surge. Fluffy but Deadly did not have their shield up in time. Last fight, guaranteed. Seed has another Coalescence online for Wichita State University. They gotta hope that this will be enough to get some space, but ZP Link has one of their own.
Coalescence ×2 here. Only other one on board right now is Fluffy's Shatters. Kellic falls. RIT trying to posture up in the front, but they're getting damage from the back now as well. Dynamite down. Fluffy but Deadly chooses now to get up close and personal. Has a Shatter but can't use it. Super low. Half the team deleted. RIT rolling on in.
One more fight. because of how fast that one just happened, and there was no car progressing too far, but Blue Jay has a Graviton Surge. Seed is aware of this. Swapping over to the Baptiste, the Immortality Field is the last thing standing in between them and just being all-out eliminated. A lot of Ultimate Charge again going over. Kellic is under a lot of pressure. 4 players get hit from WSU.
EMP, Death Blossom, not gonna matter. RIT taking the W right here because Wichita State, they did not make it all the way, right? They're like 2 meters away.
Just if that.
Yeah,
With
like
just
spitting distance, pocket sand distance.
Yep, if that. Yeah, Dynamite's gonna get play of the game here. Again, this was a great heads-up play from Wichita State University to pull out the EMP plus the Death Blossom combo. Some might argue that it was an overinvestment, but still, it was a great use for them from those ultimates to be able to find themselves a team fight win. But this is 100% at the end of it all, when you're looking at why this team of RIT did better in the end, you're mostly looking at the Reinhardt battle. Fluffy but Deadly, I want to say, found maybe 2 Earth Shatters connected and about 2 stuns in total throughout the entirety of this series. There wasn't the utmost follow-up and Earth Shatters to actually connect onto RIT, where ZP was doing, or where Link FD, excuse me, was doing a great job of not only blocking the Earth Shatters, but being proactive with their Earth Shatters as well. Especially in the almost the last team fight there on Junkertown Part C, where they were caught up in a Graviton Surge from Kellic. They immediately flipped it back on its head by pulling out their own Earth Shatter. As soon as Fluffy but Deadly was trying to cleave to be the follow-up inside Kellic's Graviton Surge, which WSU so desperately needed, they immediately got put right back on their backs. And just when you thought that WSU were going to look at a map 5, they immediately got quite literally put on their rear ends, such as that Earth Shatter in those final moments. Very tough to say what unfortunately happened for RIT in that control map. Again, trying to force out a dive versus a brawl composition. Nobody's ever going to have a fun time at that. Flexecution was finding a lot of value on the Sombra for that map. But then once RIT wised up to their own name of being an institute of technology, they were very smart in being able to be aware about where the Sombra of Flexecution was located at, and was always spy checking, not letting them build up EMPs as quick as they did on Elio. So great adaptations coming through from RIT in these 4 maps that were just played, and they're going to stay undefeated in going into week 5.
Yeah, so that was RIT has lost a map now. Yeah, they won this one 3-2. So RIT just had a tie, otherwise did take their first map loss here, but not going to matter so much because they did take the W, obviously. Still undefeated here. Now, we're going to go to a very short break and then get a little interview action coming through for you. Essel, the Junkrat, Reaper, I think he played Echo some. He was a jack of all trades on this last map here on Junkertown, and we're going to get him in here for a little bit of interview action. We'll be back with you guys in just a second. And our short break is over. FBI Tugboat here, back with my man Proper, Juke producing away after the Wichita State RIT game. RIT taking this one 3-2-1 in the end. We got Essel here for a little bit of interview action. Essel, how are we doing?
Good, good. Thanks for having me here. Great tournament. Great opponents. Just been good all around.
Absolutely. I think
I
Proper's
love
got a
that
question
humbleness.
for you, man.
I love that humbleness coming out from you, Essel. And of course, you always got to sing props. Congratulations on the 3-1 victory here today to make sure that you all stay undefeated for RIT ahead of week 5 with playoffs just looming in the distance. My question for you, my friend, is what is your true role along with this team? Because we did see Vanguard play out the first 2 maps of both Elias and Eichenwald, and then you came in on Anubis and locked in Jay Silly immediately. Is there much more of a specialist as far as what heroes that you both play? Because you both seemingly fill out the flex DPS role for your team.
So I'm the flex DPS and generally the starter, and he's really just he comes subs in when one of us can't play. I was actually in class for the first 2 matches, so I just came out of
Oh, okay,
class and
gotcha.
was playing. So that was why I wasn't in the first 2 matches there. But I also am the team captain. I try and lead us in game and be the in-game leader as much as I can. But everyone helps out with everything in the team.
Okay,
Not a
gotcha.
bad
So,
not a bad substitute at all.
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And everybody, helping out, taking responsibilities there and getting it done. I like it. Now, I wanted to ask, are there any other teams that you guys are really looking for in the EGFC? Something that you think will be a close matchup?
I honestly haven't paid too much attention to the EGFC. I've been just grinding.
Fair.
I look forward to our next match. I don't look forward to people who we could be facing. I always want to know who we're going to face next and what we're going to do about them, how we're going to take them down.
The next on the chopping block, right?
Yeah.
Lambs to the slaughter. Gotcha. Essel, we want to thank you for coming on in here and giving us a minute of your time after the game. Congrats to you, RIT, taking down Wichita State University 3-2-1 on the Eliosi Eichenwald Anubis then Junkertown finisher.
Thank you for having me.
Sir, yes, sir. Proper and I will be back with you guys. Matchup between a Ryder and Sienna, correct, Proper?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that match further develops against Sienna, a team that I ended up watching. The previous time that I was on this broadcast didn't exactly have the outing that they were looking forward to. But Rider
Fair.
University is a team that I always end up casting over top of, and they have a very electrifying soldier player that is always licking their lips at this current soldier buff that we are living and existing in right now. So it's going to be a very fun match.
Absolutely. Sienna College coming off of a bye week as well, so had some time to prepare, figure things out, and be coming back at this one in fine, flashy formation. We'll be back with you guys in just a very short break. Do not go anywhere. And we are back. Some more helpings of Overwatch coming at you. Tastes right nice in the old tummy. FBI tugboat here with my man Proper. We got Juke down there producing away, making our jobs as casters just so much easier. With our next matchup here, we got Ryder taking on Siena College. Is that correct, Proper?
That is very right. Yeah, Rider University are currently looking at I believe that they are 1-2 so far throughout the overall standings. Siena College had a bye week in our third week of matches, so they are currently sitting at 0-2. But something that both these teams have in common is that they have both lost to Marist College. Unfortunate to say the least, but still, going into this upcoming matchup, Siena are going to continue to build their profile here for our EGFC Season 2 to see if they can come back and finish off the regular play strong with playoffs just, again, looming in the distance for us.
Yeah, really, not that far away. We're looking at end of the regular season being December, beginning of December, I think, something like
That's
that.
right.
Don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, same maps as well. We got little Elios action. Eichenwald and Anubis will be guaranteed. Junkertown, if we go to the map 4, and then Oasis on the control to force the guaranteed non-tie in game number 5 if we do get there, if we go the distance proper.
Yeah, and for Rider University, I mean, I've seen this team play quite often through a multitude of different leagues, and from this one specifically, it was one of the first teams that I did end up casting. They have a very interesting lineup, to say the least. They have a player that really enjoys their Soldier 76, which ahead of the current patch, or the previous patch, I should say, besides the one that just recently dropped, Soldier 76 is a very strong pick, and if you can make your presence known with Soldier 76, then you can always end up flipping team fights before they actually end up really getting underway. Getting that recoil change, 5 more bullets inside of the pulse rifle is very good, and they also have a very good support line to back them up. I mean, for this team that has faced off against tons of different Sombra compositions, we even saw it in our previous matchup, Tugboat. Facing off against Sombra is very tough to say the least, but as long as you have a strong support lineup behind you, then you're going to be able to counteract against most EMPs, if not all.
And when we talk about unique abilities here in Overwatch, Sombra's ability to go completely invisible, definitely higher up there. Only able to be spotted, by proximity and the various reconnaissance abilities from, Hanzo and Hanzo's arrows, and of course, Widow's ultimate. So, uniqueness there. Hacking as well, a very, very unique ability. Elios first. Let's get it going. Talking about these two squads. Rider University consisting of Riggs, Soggy, Ranger, Staraku, Nifty Bean, and TM Ryan.
Siena College are going to be opening things up with the Junkrat. They have a brawl composition, so I'm very interested to see how Rider University are going to be able to look for a dive, and Ranger lost their mech very quickly.
Wow, yeah, that's 600 going very, very quickly as well. Baby Diva falling shortly thereafter. A little bit of trades back and forth. Ace, Vager both down. Ranger now res, so Rider actually fighting this one to a full 6. I think Siena's coming back for the time being. Res coming through.
Nifty Bean will put themselves in a good spot, so she was going to be able to get the resurrection off. Rider University are sustaining themselves on the point. We're able to isolate a lot of targets, and this is all of the back end of Riggs. This was the player that I was talking about, found a lot of value with Soldier 76, but their McCree is just as strong, and you're finding a lot of poke damage, allowing Soggy to press on forward. This is a lot of ultimate charge going over in the favor for Rider University. They're going to have double DPS ultimates online in the upcoming fight. You may think when you're looking at the Mercy and Lucio composition that there isn't that much burst healing, and you might be right, but you got a lot of resources, both hard engages, disengages, plus the damage boost from Mercies alike, that both these teams are going to be able to play with, and with Riggs on this McCree, are definitely reaping the benefits of that, pun intended.
There it is. 41% now. 2 ultimates online inside of Rider University. A little bit of posturing up here. Missed hook, unfortunately, but Seth3 is not going to be too far away from Soggy, and is still getting a lot of value here. Tire on board soon for CJ. I think we'll see that. Never mind. Very quickly. That's 2, now 4. Siena College deleted, and they'll take solace in the fact that they have not dropped any ultimates through that.
Vagar will find a consolation elimination on to Riggs, but there's the team fight
kill.
gong. Nifty Bean's going to swoop in. She will res Riggs. Going into this next fight, mostly looking at Pusak and how she's going to end up using this sound barrier. And, I know that the chat, I did a little bit of VOD review last time that I cast Siena College. I was more than ready to cast over the name Pusak this time around, but the sound barrier is going to have to be big, and it's going to have to be able to give a lot of sustained adaptive shields for Siena College to posture up to get even to the point. We're looking at last fight territory if Rider University can extend this.
Yeah. Already a slightly short death blossom here. Pusak is going to fall on that one. And Soggy still getting a lot of value from this aggression. Rez coming through, Pusak up, Soundbear will be available for the time being, but CJ, Paul now out, don't want a Diva, they want a Lucio. That's not one, but two. Riggs taking out on the right side here. Self-destruct on the point. Mostly, oh my goodness. I was going to say mostly used for a little bit of zoning action, but that's going to take out 3 proper.
We'll take out 3. Now we're looking at a staggered fight. Ace came back on the Diva just to get back here quickly enough. For Rider University, they got the numbers advantage. They are bowling Ace. There goes the mech. They will be dealt with. Ryan will fly in on the Lucio just as a very cherry on top Soundberry. Rider University 100-0 here on Ruins. No Widowmaker to be plagued out. Riggs on the McCree was the only hit scan that was really out on the table. Siena College was barely even able to leave their Mega Pack ruined area. We get a little bit of a replay there at the end. This was Soggy getting up close and personal. This was the second team fight that endured, and this allowed for so much space for Riggs to find a flank. And while Rider University, they were just, again, dictating the pace of every single fight. Nifty Bean did a great job. And she was finding a lot of key reses, so that way all of the team for Rider University were always playing in a full stack of 6. The engages and disengages were clean from Ryan. And again, Rider University always finding those dives were making Siena College very uncomfortable. So now we move over to Well. Ace and Seth are going to go for a pull port composition. CJ Paul is going to be staying on the Junkrat. Vagar over towards the Soldier 76. And well, you're going to need a hit scan because Riggs is now over to the far. Ranger and Stariku are onto a Reinhardt and Zarya composition. They're going to be looking to brawl.
Brawly indeed. It'll only be assisted from our pharmacy comp up top. This is Siena College so far posturing up on point, but it's not opened up quite yet. 5 seconds to go on that one as Riggs is already up to about 40% plus. Ranger not that far away either, and that's our initial hook off the side into the well. The first death to that one. Trades come through afterwards. Big Junkrat play is here as he contributes damage to the big source of healing. The Ana, big source of damage, or big source of block damage. That's the Reinhardt. Siena College trying to hold on here. Not going to happen.
It's not going to happen at all, and well, they're still staggering at this fight.
Wow.
Riggs built up a Pharaoh Barrage. Sariku's still alive, and Riggs will find the cleanups of Rider University. They were able to sustain underneath the Rocket Barrage from Riggs. And just as I was about to go into a full analysis of how CJ Paul and Sethri are on soft counters against Soggy on this Reaper, again, you got the bear traps, and you got the hooks to displace Soggy to make them uncomfortable to not find the up-frontal damage with the 2 Hellfire shotguns that Reaper has to offer. Rider University, they have an ace in a hole, and that is Riggs. Or ace in the sky as it may be. A little bit of a concussion blast comes out. CJ Paul did not have enough mines to get themselves back up full float. Siena College are going to have to poke out a little bit here. Big hook, so now the fight is even.
Yeah, so big sources of damage for both sides deleted for the time being. This is Stariku Zarya not willing to give that corner up and let the flank start. Ranger up front does have that shatter, but nothing doing quite so far. Blocking out damage from both. Great job of that so far as the swings come against the Orisa, and actually the shield falls just in the nick of time. Orisa not going to get taken by that, but the other 2 are setting up for a little barrage action from the top. Looking for reses. This is going to be, well, yeah, that's Nourishment who kind of had the pick of the litter as far as reses, but this is a full blue. Siena College trying to get back into this one.
Better to say that 30-second cooldown. Nifty Bean will use theirs, but it's not going to be online for the next 30 seconds. Ranger will get hooked to open up this fight, but a projected barrier is going to be able to keep them alive. Stariku does have a Graviton Surge ahead of this fight. Pusog, she's going to have to be very surgical with this sound barrier, and here comes the grab.
Big grab indeed. Purple's in the middle, but Sethri doesn't get taken out before the purple ends. Does get his healing off, and that's a nano-boosted Death Blossom. Taking down not 1, but 2 is now turning the attention onto the Roadhog, and this is looking like Ryder setting up for another 100-0.
Up close and personal, Soggy against CJ Paul, swapped over to the Pharah. Now looking at just 10% needed for Rider University to take this 200% to 0 for Siena College, and they're going to be able to open things up. Riggs coming back on the Tracer. They will stick for the Pulse Bomb. Ace goes down. No main tank for this fight. Nourishment, she has to get this Resurrection off, and they do so, but Riggs is still in the back line.
Speed, Usok's there to touch. Unbear comes shortly thereafter, hits everybody except for Nourishment, and that's a really solid setup. Sethri, not 1, not 2, but 3 on the whole hog. Easier said than done usually. Does miss the hook on the end, but doesn't matter when you have a cadre of Siena College members all over this one and take out Stariku. Now taking percentage of their own little boop action on the end. Great stagger.
So for the first time, all control long here on Ilio. Siena College will finally see the small lick of percentage, but they did have to use the whole hog and the Bongo Supercharger from Ace. Veigar does have the attack visor online, going to be looking for nourishment. She has to damage boost Veigar to make this one really stick because of all the shielding and placement damage that Rider University are going to have. Ranger has an Earth Shatter online. It's really the only thing that they have to play with here. But Race is still in the back line, and it's going to open up Soggy to find a lot of value far forward.
The Shatter blocked out in its entirety. Yeah, nobody got hit by that one proper. Aimbot at the end, trying for something new. The Mercy was there and has gotten value from that ultimate already. Siena College all over this one as the attempted res nourishment chooses the wrong time to try and bring that out. And now a fat finger?
Ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of breakdancing there, but Sariku will take themselves down. Unfortunately, CJ Paul also goes off the map, so I mean, we're staggering out this fight. Hopefully Rider University don't come back to have that bidden in the rear for them.
So the misplaced Death Blossom and then not one but two Tracers take a dip down into the well. Maybe tossed a wish down there and they want to get it back. I'm not sure. Ace tossed out a mech very, very early. And just like that, Ryder, wow, okay. So some interesting plays are at the end. We'll call that hard.
Yeah. I mean, I totally understand. I mean, from CJ's perspective, you know, as Tracer, you're trying to blink to the point. You can take on the very right-hand side when you are moving your way out of the spawn to try to triple blink through, but it's a very unique placement that you have to be on to get the play of the game from Rangers POV. Oh, man, Nourishment. She was caught in a very tough spot. Nobody to fly to inside Dark where they were going to be able to stay alive. And, of course, you got to keep this point contested. Right, University end up taking this first map 2-0 in stages and now lead the map count 1-0 ahead of Eichenwald. Look pretty darn clean as well as far as their team cohesion is concerned. Focus fire is all good. Even ahead of where you would think would be a very hard battle. You saw the Earthshatter got blocked from the Reinhardt of Rhine University against the Orisa there on well from Siena College. Almost had a Honor and Glory, that animated short from Overwatch itself. Reinhardt versus Orisa is a very tough battle because of that fusion cannon that Orisa holds on their primary fire. Can absolutely destroy Reinhardt as they're trying to work their way in. But still, when you have Star EQ just opening up a lot of space, projected barriers, personal barriers to not only laser out all the tanks that are just ultimate batteries at that point for Azaria. Once that one little barrier is dealt with, you also had Riggs going off on the wall with the Pharah. The Tracer came back on well, was played to a high degree, and then also the McCree on Ruins, which is opening up so much space for Zoggy to work their way past the front line with the two Hellfire shotguns, making all of the team of Siena College put on notice.
Yeah, it's definitely something you have to respect. Well-positioned and highly skilled Reaper literally will always just throw a monkey wrench in any kind of plans that a team is going to be trying to really get up and hold on. Now, the shatters, right? Something I was trying to like put numbers on it across the game from RIT and WSU earlier. Now Siena College and Ryder. I think we might have actually seen more shatters whiff than get hit. Any insight?
You just got to hit those shatters forehead. I don't. It's.
No, I mean as far as like the hit versus not hit.
Oh,
can you like percentage-wise? I don't know.
You're probably looking at it, especially off of the previous match that we just had, probably about a 20 to 80 thus far for shatters connected to shatters blocked. It's easier said than done in that mental warfare. I know that you play a lot of support yourself too, and it's really
I don't like
it's really tough.
shattered.
Yeah, it's really tough when you're looking at it from the Reinhardt's perspective on trying to hit that Earth Shatter. You have about half a second to be able to dictate that shatter is going to be good enough. How many players are stacked up inside that cone for the Earth Shatter to fully embellish and to fully connect? But just getting it out of the way into shields alone, it's still a lot of shield damage, and it's still a lot of spatial or a lot of positional taken away from the enemy team just because they're afraid of the Earth Shatter itself. And that's then position gain from the team, whether you hit the Earth Shatter or not. Yes, it can be big. It can be money. You can hear Emong looming in the back of your ears saying big shatter, but it's not always going to be the case. But it's the position that you then take off of a failed shatter and just hoping that you're able to sustain yourself. It then comes down to the Reinhardt that missed the shatter, just not to swing the hammer wildly, than to lose their life. But when you have a team like how Rider University are showcasing their ability, especially with Sariku on the Zarya, to then take up the front line, again, opening space for Riggs and Soggy to find value, then that Reinhardt missing Earth Shatters isn't the most potent about the team fight. So Siena College heading into Eichenwald here are going to be on defense first, going to have their little bit of a fair share to see how many Earth Shatters they can land, or miss as it may be. Seth3 will join them on the Zarya. CJ back over towards the J Silly. Veigar is on the Mei. So two defensive DPS heroes here, not the utmost damage directly can be played out. You got to land those right clicks from Veigar, and of course CJ Paul on this Junkrat we saw in our first series between RIT and WSU can be a lot of damage, but you got to make sure that you do find it. Rider University on offense, they're hovering over Genji and Soldier, so there's a lot of risk that comes out from these two DPS lineups, though from Rider University, when it comes down to ultimates alone, they can be a little bit more explosive.
Oh, there's the wall, perfectly positioned, and adds an even better response by this Reinhardt to get out. Well, the getting was good. A frozen Reinhardt is not a happy Reinhardt, but he's got the walls out, nourishment falling, so main source of healing for the side of Sienna, especially with no Soldier. Not going to bode well for them in this ensuing team fight. Star trying to get back on here. I think he did get that small health pack, but only going to be so much rest for the Weary over there, and him taken out by his counterpart. Now Soggy making mincemeat here. I do believe there's just a little bit of cleanup action on point number 1, proper.
Yeah, Sienna College, they dedicated about 3 members to chase Stariku, and you got the Zarya down, that's great. And you might have 12% more to the Graviton Surge charge set 3, but the main focus should have been on the point in trying to stop Ranger from taking the space. Riggs was able to find a lot of backline damage. They're going to have a Dragon Blade. That's going to be pocketed. And they took down CJ Paul. Look at what Rider University are able to do with all the space that's offered to them. They find one pick here and there, and then they immediately pull out ultimates. There's Riggs with the blade.
Indeed, trying to hack and slash on this one. May instantly gets away. Did find one, so not totally useless, but it could have been better supported as well as yielded a lot more, I suppose. Seth3 playing the perfect bubble on this one. They're going to be coming under this bridge here in just a bit, but Siena College knows exactly where to hold on this one. It is not this farther up. Now, aimbot getting called for. Soggy on the side. Going to be easier said than done, though, with not 1 but 2 shield tanks. The Seth3 Winston bubble and the Ace Reinhardt shield blocking out the entirety of that DPS ultimate. Now both support ultimates online for Siena College, but not going to happen in time. Seth3 out, shattered down. Ranger hitting several on those after Ace came charging in. Viger as well. Nasty charge against the May. Always going to be a good target for that one. Husak looking towards the bridge for boops and more. Mostly getting damage off on the side. Would think, nah, yeah, everybody's actually up here, so that opportunity for the most time to lead it down. People falling on both sides, but teams really fighting this one back and forth. Vigar not able to live through this one again. First falling as a charge against Rangers. Counterpart Ace taking him out. Tire cutting corners, but getting cut down on payload. 4 minutes to go. Still kind of a stalemate fight.
So a little bit, but you know, the closer defensive spawns means that they can sustain this a lot quicker. Rider University, they're taking the chip damage where they can take it. Someone's gonna get up here and help Stariku out. They go down 1 mine. Will end up dealing that, and Soggy pulls out the tactical visor. Riggs is still in the back line, causing chaos. Seth3 pulls out the primal rage, gets solo earth shattered, and just when it was all said and done for Siena College to get that final fight won, it's going to be Rider University that end up taking the capture point, and they're going to see inside of the castle for Eichenwald. Riggs comes back on the Tracer, finds immediate value, a pulse bomb stick onto CJ, takes down them, plus Husak. And Siena College are absolutely reeling. They don't have enough to sustain, and look at Ace Shield, it's just damn near almost broken. Soggy's been doing this ever since the first capture point tugboat. They're not letting Siena breathe.
A little rest for the Ace Reinhardt shield is that Winston bubble, but not going to last super long. CJ Paul back on the Bastion. Soundbear landing on everybody as CJ Paul is set up decently, pouring out the damage here. That's a stick, though. Nicely done. Tracer playing that role perfectly. Seth3 and that's Soggy on the Soldier 76 fighting an absolute duel there on the end, little 1v1 action. Soggy did win that one, but defense holding strong for the time being.
Yeah, I mean, look how expensive it was for Siena College, though. It took you a Bastion, a Blizzard, and a Sound Barrier to counteract against Rider University, who are going to walk in here with a Valkyrie plus a Tactical Visor. CJ Paul staying on this Bastion up on the high ground. Ooh. It's just going to get damage boost and poke down. Yes, Nourishment, she will be able to res CJ Paul, but again, the space will be here for Rider University.
Shatters everywhere as now Soggy pulling out the Tag Visor. Attention to the back onto the May, but that's a pocket hard all day. Seth3 coming over on this one, swinging away, trying to find some, but these corners will be harder to find on Eichenwald than others. Now the blade out as well. I'm not sure if this was 100% necessary.
I would definitely say that it was necessary. You're looking at a last fight team, Terry. Get the space, makes Siena College that much more uncomfortable. And now it's just going to come down to Pusak. Can she touch the point? Nourishment, she's going to try as well. She pops the Valkyrie. Pusak goes down. Nourishment soon to follow. No Wrecking Ball here in time. Luckily enough, Veigar gets inside the ice block just in the nick of time, but it's just a few staggered members coming out from Siena College. Ranger has an Earthshatter. To seal this, goes into the back line. Solo shatters CJ Paul. And while Rider University, they have all of the ultimates. They have the positional advantage to be able to turn this back in their favor. 2 minutes and 40 seconds in the bank here, Tugboat.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I want to like examine this for a second, right? So Riggs holds on to his blade and relies on his regular movements and teammates to take out the Mei. That was really the big threat on there. So he holds on to blade, and that 35, 45 seconds that was eaten at the end might have theory crafting right here, but might have been cut way shorter with the addition of blade.
It's really tough to say. I mean, whether or not, like, Veigar was going to be able to get in that ice block regardless, just because there was nobody denying the Mei walking out of the, what is the left spawn door on our current screen right now as we look at the fallen armor into the throne here on Eichenwald. May you rest in peace.
What was his name?
I forgot the name off the top of my head, but they fought ever so valiantly against all of those Orissas.
They did.
Now Reinhardt now owns that armor. They fight for the Crusader every single day. But still, Rider University again. I mean, they are looking at a very strong time bank. It's really tough to capture all 3 points, especially with the spawn advantage that you have on Eichenwald. But because they were staggering out their ultimates and Riggs was being damage boosted by Nifty Bean, built that blade so fast that it was okay to use the blade there. Again, just because Rider University, they had all the position in the world to be able to deny Siena College a full-on regroup. And now onto the defense we go. This is the same composition that we saw from them on, I believe it was Ilios Ruins. And maybe you sub out Ryan for a Lucio instead of the Ana. But you don't really need a speed boost here on point A. You can find a lot of value with the biotic grenades. And this is going to offer a lot of space for Soggy to push on forward with the Reaper. Ace and Seth are going to stay on this Monkey and Reinhardt composition. CJ Paul is on the Ash, but they're already back to spawn.
CJ Paul, that's sounds like DJ Paul. That's why I keep thinking it's kind of funny. Interesting stuff. Ace falling on this one. Ranger with a well-placed fire strike on that. Siena College on the offense now with losing 2 and Seth 3 getting super low after Riggs really showed up earlier. I think they're calling the back foot now.
You gotta go for a little soft disengage here. Just hope that Veigar doesn't get picked there. Dropped incredibly low. Seth 3's gonna find a little bit of space. Ranger's gonna get hit with a dynamite, so this is good for Rider University to then disengage back. Look at Ranger's ultimate charge. They're so close to an Earthshatter. Riggs found a lot of early poke damage. 12% shy away from a high noon. Noah may not find all of the kills in the world, but again, space is the name of the game.
And space just gets eaten up there against Sethri, Ace. Excuse me. So Ace space gets eaten up there, one could say, as the rest of Siena College follows handedly afterwards.
So let's think about this, Tugboat. What does Siena College really have to deal with Soggy on this Reaper? Typically, you'll see the Reinhardt coupled along with a Zarya, and you have those projected barriers, or the defense matrix from a D.Va. That's not there for Siena College. You would think that Veigar on the Mei would be able to slow them down, but you're just a big target. Here comes the high noon from Riggs early.
Oh, gets blocked off in large part by Veigar's ice block. Well done, but Riggs keeps his finger on the trigger, his eyes on the prize, gets that mercy as she was guarding Angeling out. There's a Death Blossom again, try and kind of put a bow on this one, but again, might have been something that could have held on for a little bit of a longer team fight. These players will be back soon anyway. But I gotta agree with you, man. The Sethri Winston going into a Reaper like Soggy, it's not gonna bode well.
Well, and we talked about this during the RIT and WSU match on their Ilios map. Finding a dive against a brawl composition, you're just never going to really find value unless you truly find Ryan out in the open. Riggs again with an opening elimination.
Wow, yeah, so, and just a huge source of damage, eating up that res in the beginning, so Pusak's res will not be back for quite a while. Ace falls as well, did not get the healing out from his mercy while the res was coming through, and now we have a Stariku fully charged as they get. Both bubbles back within 3 seconds, a shatter lands, Nourishment first on the chop and block, CJ Paul there at the end. All but a team kill.
Yeah, hey, and you got the Nano Boost, you got the Valkyrie, the Primal Rage, and the Blizzard out. So you're walking into this fight, hoping that CJ Paul is going to be able to charge the rest of this Riptire. And then you also have Ace with this Earthshatter. Riggs has another high noon online. Sariku has a team fight victory ultimate with a Graviton Surge. No defensive ultimates nor capabilities online for Siena College. Set 3 is now over to the Roadhog. It's just trying everything within their power to find opening damage and to make Rider University uncomfortable.
It's really just not been working out so far, especially when Riggs can take picks like this. The new McCree with a 225 on there. It's cool to see. Nourishment now again, so Siena College was short of a team kill earlier. That's going to be our gong.
Yeah, and again, a very convincing team fight for Rider University. This was back off of a Graviton Surge and a High Noon, and Ranger's getting sneaky back here. Wants to get a little bit of a flank shatter off. Siena College, I'm just going to try to barrel on through the choke. Does anybody check the top right corner? This is last fight territory. Ranger is going to drop from the top rope. Here it is. The Earth Shatter is going to find a 4.
Oh, the sleep lands just a second too late. We watched it coming. It hits him mid-top. That's the replay action all day long as it is. We're looking at 15 seconds left. Siena College on the back foot, really trying at this one, but outside of a ball, I don't think they're even going to be able to get to that point. Tyre cannot contest. 2 seconds away, nobody's close enough. Game 2 going handedly again to the side. Rider University. That's a 3-0? Yeah, because they opened up and wow. Yeah, my.
Quite convincing from Rider University.
Convincing,
I mean, the DPS lineup are just finding so many openings, but it's all off of just this individual right here. I mean, Ranger is being helped out quite heavily by Staryu on the Zarya, but when you have a Reinhardt that is just finding Earth Shatters, that is also just dictating the fight and finding so much space for their DPS to be able to find as many eliminations as we're seeing from Riggs and Soggy, I mean, the game just becomes so much easier from there on out. You don't have to be aloof when you're playing DPS at that point. You could just play with the Reinhardt and just bully your way on forward. And even on their offense for Eichenwald Tugboat, we saw it. Once the team fight was won, where did Soggy and Riggs end up going? Straight towards the spawn for Siena College. Nobody was able to shut them down time and time again. I don't even think a single one of them went down all defense long or even offense as well. We're probably looking at a pretty flawless Eichenwald coming out from Rider University. So Siena College now, off of losing 2 maps, are going to be looking at a 3-0 sweep potentially, or they can end up trying to get the works of the reverse sweep. Saga, I do believe you do have the
there
mute
you go,
bug.
my bad. Yep. Hate to see it. Rider University has seen all 3 zeros or 0-3s against them, so continuing on that theme here today, would not be surprised if it does happen. And just looking at the paper, right, 0-2, 0-3, Siena College at 0-2 in their map count, even if they are coming off of a bye week, just on paper, not a whole lot to be said that anything will go outside of that way. There's been a lot of 3 zeros in EGF, and I can see that definitely happening again. No predictions here quite so far, though. We got a short break coming after, giving these teams a little bit of time to think about what they want to do, what they want to recreate, what they want to not have happen again. We'll be back with you guys in just a minute. And we are back. Some electrifying replays here from our Ryder Siena College matchup. I'm FBI Tugboat here, joined the man Proper, and got Juke down there producing away, making our jobs as casters just so much easier, and we do appreciate him. Now, Proper, what we're looking at is a possible 3-0 situation, right?
It's very possible, absolutely. I mean, when you're coming off of the control and even walking in towards the hybrid map of Eichenwald, Ilios, respectively, every single team fight, every single instance has always been dictated by Rider University. And for Siena College, I mean, they have had a few openings, but it's going to be even more potent come Anubis, especially for the way that the meme has always end up being invested for Assault or 2CP LOL, as it has been called out since Overwatch's inception. It's very tough to find yourself in a team fight victory when you are losing numbers as quick that Siena College are. So I would love to see them try to go towards a little bit more of a standard composition. They've been trying to lean towards this Reinhardt and Winston composition that's just not going to work out for them, offense and defense alike. I want to see a Diva come out. I want to see a Zarya come out. Whether or not the off-tank is comfortable on it or who is fulfilling that off-tank of Sethri, you got to try to play towards the strengths of the meta. Roadhog is a tank that can get absolutely bullied, and it's going to be ever more potent, especially on Temple of Anubis, where there's not that much cover to be hiding around, and you got to focus all of your attention towards a point. But we're going to have a little bit of a swap up happen here, as we'll have Ranger and Gallantry in now for Rider University to join in with the rest of their team. And on defense first will be Siena College. We saw the Junkrat find a lot of value in our WSU RIT match to top off here for us, Tugboat. Gonna have to see if they can do the same thing, and I like this coming out from Ace. The Sigma definitely couples along better with the Roadhog, and you can deny so much space. The accretion into the hook can be quite devastating. You can find a lot of damage, but for Riggs on the Widowmaker, can they find the picks necessary? It looks like they will go for a little bit of a opening shot and then go back toward the spawn to swap to a Bastion.
Opening swap, back to the respawn swap. I like it. Now, CJ Paul will be definitely comboing with Sethri's pulls as well. That's the pull into the Junkrat trap can be deadly as well. Ranger over in the front, getting defense matrix out and more, but that's going to do nothing against the Tesla cannon of Gallantry. Big stun there as well. Soggy is actually going to be the one who falls. Ranger is getting a lot. Oh my god, he got down to 15 there. Wow. Okay, so straight up his ability to stay alive through that Proper. That's impressive in and of itself.
Riggs on the Bastion, win on the wild flank this side of the Mississippi. We'll end up finding one. Wow. That Vagar down, and they have the duplicate online. So because Rider University are on a very fast composition, oh, never mind. Husok, she's got the res locked down. Yeah. I thought that they had used that in the previous fight. But Rider University, they're not deterred. They're going to try to reinsert themselves into this fight 5v6. Yeah,
it's a decently long cooldown, but yeah, 6 on. Definitely worthwhile to invest right now. Defensive position, self-destruct over the top. Not gonna hit anybody. Everybody got out while the getting was good. 2 minutes, 40 seconds. Sethri taking out one with the whole hog so first, but while he's left vulnerable, pulling whole hog does fall through the thick of things. The damage boosted Bastion is a nasty one indeed, as we saw that Riggs player showing that off the back. Vagar not able to keep up the echo movements very much, and now the grasp, what does negate out Riggs for a second, but now Ryder's actually coming back a little bit. Okay, utilizing the first shot to get up, and oh no, sniping out supports. Echo gonna be the next on the chopping block as he turns attention to the skies, but a tire from the side takes out Ranger's Diva mech for the time being. Soggy getting super low as well and did not get the shot off previously onto a tank to get his healing back before those Echo shots did end him. 1 minute, 45 seconds. Ryder taking first point.
And Nifty Bean will end up using the res, so full 6-player roster here for Rider University, adding insult to injury. Ranger in pilot form got the better of CJ Paul even after eating up the mech with the Rip Tire. So going into this next fight, Rider University, they got an ultimate advantage. They're about to have a self-destruct online. Couple that with a Primal Rage to open things up. Can be quite devastating. Riggs is on the front line. You got to soak up a lot of damage. They are being pocketed here from Nifty Bean. Ranger is taken down incredibly low. It's enough for Riggs to find the final blow on the Sethri.
Yeah, so a damage boosted Bastion just forcing in damage through here, even against the likes of a Roadhog with 600 health full, still gonna make mincemeat. Riggs blasting away here, not a whole lot gotten from it actually, so as it is, Rider University was able to utilize that, excuse me, to rotate around here. That's 55%, close to second tick. Getting that second one at least would be the name of the game, but lots of Siena College members falling on point here. This is Red Riders lighting up the kill feed everywhere on the left. 3 minutes 45, utilizing a Primal Rage at the end to make sure nobody can get onto this one, and that is a very solid first round for Rider University.
Rider University looking to keep their only loss against Marist College, the only loss that they have lost throughout the current weeks that we have played out so far for EGFC. As we get a couple of replays on the board, this was Riggs on the flank and was able to take down Vagar. Of course, the Resurrection did come through, and much like how in that previous fight, the Resurrection ended up coming through from Nifty Bean. She was able to get the res off onto Riggs, who was able to build a very quick tank formation. The ultimate for Bastion was in full effect, and although it didn't find the picks like you were talking about there, Tugboat, it got the space, and we know what Rider University love to take away from Siena College all series long, and that's space. And especially on Temple of Anubis, when you are fighting over top of that control point, well, space is what you're going to have to hold on to more often than not. So Siena College are now looking at a 3 minute and 45 time bank that Rider University were able to stack up for themselves. They're going to try to at least capture with a minute or more on the board, so that way they can guarantee themselves an extra round. Otherwise, it's going to be looking at a draw. And I'm very interested to know how much value that the dive competition between Gallantry and Ranger are truly going to be able to find, because Ace and Seth3 were never really stacked up on top of each other. I mean, the hook, the accretion, plus everything else that Siena College had, the focus beam from Vagar, plus the traps from CJ Paul, should have been more than enough to try to dissuade a more than coordinated dive from Gallantry and Ranger. But it was all within that chaos. The Rider University were able to find a lot of those picks. Defensively, they are going towards a Doomfist and a Genji composition with a dive defense. Ryan is on the Baptiste. So no real defensive ultimate online for them. Siena College on the offense are looking for a dive themselves.
Yeah, this is a mega heavy dive comp from Rider. The only one, I mean, Baptiste isn't super mobile sometimes, but just like that, there's not much to be said here. Rider University is just going to town on Siena College in this first point. Already taken out a big tank as well. Siena College rotating around, so they've started the progress. Yeah, so that's forcing Rider's hand to come all the way back here. Trying to get back into the thick of things is Riggs. Does get back in very loud fashion. Lots of Rider members getting damage everywhere on this one. Nobody is falling quite yet. Nifty Bean is on the mercies. If they do, still got a little res action for them.
Rider University, they're playing this defensive part just very wise. They're waiting for the dive to come through from Siena College, but Riggs tries to initiate right towards the spawn of Siena College, and that's going to be an easy numbers advantage for Siena College ahead of this fight. So now Siena are going to be looking to take the space, but Ranger has to self-destruct, and Nifty Bean pops the Valkyrie early.
Yeah, this Valkyrie is definitely going to help. The damage out, or the healing out first. Damage will be next on that chop and block, and Soggy can't deflect through that one, my friend. The Winston bubble here did block off, but CJ Paul taken out by a self-destruct. A little bit farther away though. Self-destruct up the top. Ace is right there in the bottom. Takes out the healing core from Rider University, and I think that's going to equal a push stopped in its tracks. Not much you can do without any heals.
That's going to be really tough, though. Seth3 is under a lot of pressure because Riggs is on the Doomfist, is able to bring themselves back to the point very quickly. Soggy's still here, and if you missed that opening match from Rider University, Soggy loves their Genji play, and well, they are more than making sure that we all remember that. Rider University, they had to make that fight pretty expensive, though it was a trade ultimates that came out. CJ Paul's now over towards the Sombra, and this is a very good pick to try to counteract the amount of value that Riggs and Soggy are finding in towards the backline, and even against Baptiste as well. One good hack onto the Baptiste means no immortality field. Ryan does have the amplification matrix in this fight. They're pushing up very quick, very far forward. Immortality field is down very quickly. Ryan's under a lot of pressure. They might go down, but no, the healing's there from Nifty Bean.
Yeah, so TM Ryan knows exactly what the order is. CJ Paul is there. He's watching for these hacks every single time. Does not want, as soon as he hears that comes out, he's going to toss those discs every single time. Vikar just absolutely bullying our TM Ryan player here. Now isn't able to get enough damage to really kill him, especially with the Mercy pocket, but not really going to matter. That is not being his priority right now. That's what I'm trying to say. Siena College getting a bit low. Ace maintained a very low health Diva Mech for a while, but wasn't able to stick through the thick of things. Ace, CJ Paul, both down on this one. Wasn't able to get the last swing onto this Seth3 Winston. He'll be back to regular Winston form now. Busak choosing now for the Valkyrie, a very long team fight indeed, an electrifying one as well, pun intended, with our Sethri Tesla Cannon just blazing. Riggs falling, got the thick of things here, nice jump onto him as Nourishment does as well. Melees being the method of execution for Stoggy and Sethri immediately before this. This Busak Mercy doing a great job, but trying to get up there, diving in. Rangers got your number. Trying to get back here, did get hacked, doesn't, so no jump or no boosters, but Nifty Bean, Team Ryan, make sure that's possible.
Last fight here to get any sort of progress onto point A, and they have not gotten a single take. Ryder University are looking at ultimate advantage here, about to have double tank ultimate. Soggy will have a blade, and Riggs with a pulse bomb. Sienna College, you gotta get this EMP quick to combo along with the self-destruct, with Soggy finds Sethri early.
Yeah, Sethri, Busak both falling within a second or so of each other, and I don't even think Ryder's gonna need to use all these ultimates. No need to hold on to him, but yes, a quick 2-0. Yeah, 2-0 in the end for Ryder University. Looking score-wise exactly like our map number 1. And yeah, just speaking it like it is, right? Ryder University with a very, very handed win across the 3-0.
Yeah, and if there was one real good opportunity there for Sienna College to try to press on forward, to be able to get the point A capture, was when Riggs overextended towards the Mega Pack to try to deal with Vagar over by the boat side of the attackers spawn A, but they got punished for it, and even going into a 5v6, an isolated dive was not good enough. The focus fire coming through from Soggy on that Genji to join in with the dive from Gallantry and Ranger, which is all the more potent. And this was also just all off the back end for Nifty being on the Mercy to be able to be in such key areas of the map to keep themselves alive. And you can't go unnoticed there. Ryan on that Baptiste, I saw that Immortality field play, was holding it on until the very last second that it was needed, was keeping a lot of members alive for Ryder University as they do take this entire series 3-0.
Yeah, he plays some fantastic corner play over here, and Baptiste is always going to be name of the game, especially when you have, Winston's like Sethri getting up close, personal, and just giving you the attention that you definitely do not want. I do believe we have a little interview action coming in here. Gotcha. Yeah, we're going to go to a very short break. Just want to make sure there. We'll be back with you guys in just a minute. And we are back. FBI Tugboat here with my man Proper. Now we got Ranger down here in the interview box, giving us a bit of his time after the game. Ranger, you with me?
Yes, I am with you.
Glad to hear. Juke, Juke is our producer. Appreciate him. Proper.
Well, Ranger coming into the mix, being probably one of the more flexible tanks I personally have ever seen since Overwatch's inception. You know, it's very tough to see a Reinhardt player play anything besides Reinhardt, but you did a great job of flexing over towards D.Va on Temple of Anubis, from flank shatters on Eichenwald and finding multi-kill after multi-kill on every single map played out so far. I want to focus mostly on Temple of Anubis, especially for that offense when Riggs then swapped over to the Bastion on offense. Was that something that you all practiced, or were you just trying to add salt into the wound of Siena College?
In all honesty, what is practice to us? We kind of just do our own thing for the most part. So coming out of that, I had no idea. I literally went into that game and was like, all right, we're going to run standard, which is just whoever we do DPS. All of a sudden, I'm jumping in. I'm like, wait, we have a Bastion?
So it was Riggs the entire time. Riggs was the imposter the entire time, just looming in the background, just trying to go for the flank with the Bastion. That's actually quite kind of hilarious. And just as a follow up there before Tug asks their question as well, how much practice time do you all able to find throughout the week while you guys are also studying?
That's actually one of the toughest things we got going against us. Is just like on certain days we have half of our team like missing, and then the other half we don't, and it's just like, it's very hard to balance, but we have enough people coming through on certain days. So it's not much. I would say a couple hours every like 3 days we get going. But other than that, like, yeah, just school is such a hard thing to balance with esports.
Hey, more time than most, you know, not as much as I'm sure you'd like to sometimes, right?
Of course.
Yeah. So my question, Ranger, personally, how do you played that Reinhardt, you played that D.Va? I want to ask how or which map you felt like you played the best on between our Ilios, Eichenwald, and Anubis?
That's pretty difficult for me to even judge myself. I try not to be. I try not to like be like, oh my god, I'm so good. But like, in all honesty, like ever since the start of the season, I've been picking up the shot caller position, and I felt like a lot of that was in Ilios the most, and me being able to flex between D.Va and Ryan, both on the same like map, just depending on whether it was ruins or what's it called. I was able to show everything that I had for the most part, and then it continued into Eichenwald and stuff. So Ilios set it, I guess, for myself high, and then that's what you came to see.
And it's what you came what?
That's what you came to see afterwards. So yeah.
Gotcha. Just maintaining that momentum through for a 3-0 over the side of Siena College. They have taken their third loss, unfortunately. Ryder, you guys up 3-1 though. You have dropped so your loss was a 0-3 loss, correct?
Yes, it was against Marist back in week 2.
Yep, that's true. So, but hey, charging forward here, positive map score of +6 after your third win again against Siena. I want to tell you thank you for coming on in here and giving us a minute of your time after the game.
No problem. Have a good one.
Yes, sir. You too. Now, Proper, do you believe we have some more Overwatch action coming in for the good people? 2 more games, I believe.
Yeah, got 2 more games just on the chopping block here for you all on this channel alone, and then of course on the EGF Overwatch channel. They're currently working through the University of Delaware versus University of Colorado, and then they have UT Arlington versus St. John's University. On this channel alone, after we do some musical chairs with the casters, you're going to be looking at Niagara University versus Quinnipiac University, and then to finalize the entire day will be Fairfield University versus Marist College, that college that, of course, Ranger was just talking about, the team that has beaten Ryan University so far. So you definitely want to check them out.
Yeah, so at least the second 2 of those both streams games going to be absolutely barn burners, I can guarantee you. But yes, with that, I do believe I am out. Proper, are you still in with Sir Waltham?
Nope, I am done for the day as well.
Dunzo as well. Got you. Well, we got a couple of new casters coming in here. The Overwatch action not done, just done for us for the time being. Shout out to Juke there. You can find me over there on Twitter over there. Did I point it right? There you go. And you got Propers over there. Oh, nope, over there. You can find us over there on Twitter if you enjoyed the cast, and follow EGF as well over on your Bird app. Appreciate you guys watching. More Overwatch action continues here soon.
Hello, good evening, and welcome everybody to EGF Overwatch. We are ready to get going into another set of extraordinary games. Looking ahead here, we're going to be seeing Niagara versus Quinnipiac University. For your casting entertainment, it's going to be me, Sir Waltham, and Dryad. Dryad, how are we feeling about these teams tonight?
This should be a really, really interesting match. Very excited to see how these two teams are going to perform. Like you mentioned, it's going to be Niagara against Quinnipiac. So it's going to be a lot of different compositions. And one of the things that I'm curious still is a lot of variety that we've seen, especially here in EGF. But in general, in Overwatch, everyone is kind of playing whatever they want to, whatever composition they feel more comfortable in. And that plays such a big part into who's going to take the victory. At the end of the day, is who plays their heroes best, who plays the composition best. So that's going to be really, really important here.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to look forward to seeing it. While we do have a little bit of time, we'll talk about the histories for these teams that we've seen them so far throughout this tournament. I've done a little bit of research here, Dryad. Don't tell anybody because I definitely don't do this that often. But I got Niagara at a 1-2. I do think that one of those wins was off. Well, the one win was based off of a forfeit win to their opponents 2 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. Quinnipiac, however, standing at a neat 2-0. They did have a bye week in the second or third week, so things are going to be looking very good for them. They're already coming out statistically very strong over their opponents.
Yeah, so Quinnipiac already has the advantage, but if you're on the side of Niagara, you had enough time to prepare to see what they're playing, what they feel comfortable in, and this is why this should be really interesting, because for Niagara, again, like you mentioned, not a lot of wins that they have, so they still don't really have the understanding of how other teams are going to play against them. This should be a really good match here.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it here. I am getting word that we are almost ready to get into those lobbies. But Dryad, we talked a lot about the different compositions we might be seeing here. We do know that Control, generally the first maps we see in these types of games. Do you think those incline themselves to any composition in particular?
For Control, it's really interesting to see how, in general, we see, depending on the sub-map, a lot of different compositions. But now that we're going into this map, now that we're going into Julius, we can always expect to dive here. This is classic. Seeing the Winston, the Diva, and then for the DPS lineup, I think it varies a little bit more depending on how fast they want to run, how much do you want to be in the back line. But we're starting to see, those really fast heroes, that Tracer, the Genji, that are so important here.
We will see exactly how these play out. Still a little bit of time for these teams to decide, as those gates have yet to open up. That countdown activates, and now we are going to be seeing them roll out. Niagara looking like going to those DPS picks, a Junkrat and a Genji to start. Mei and Tracer on the other side. Very similar, except for the one support, Mercy versus Moira. Now as we look, Quinnipiac already taking an early presence on the point. Firewolf going to be diving in very deep, but it's going to be Apex trying to go in to catch a little bit, try to bully that Winston back at any time they can. And it's going to be Redbeard holding in just a little bit too late. Gets caught out by a Mei wall. Maga using that to some severe effectiveness here. As we see, it's going to be Flanny who takes a D-Mech, the first official loss so far. Aside from that Genji mentioned earlier, but Quinnipiac so far not too bothered by it. It's going to be Grub digging into the backs of those support players. Has to be very careful though. End up turning tail and running away from the Junkrat. It's going to be Cheesed, ending up backing with the rest of their team just to ensure no more losses happen.
Just like that, they take control of the point. I really like the engagement that Quinnipiac takes right at the beginning. They ensure a few picks, and just like that, they take control of the point. They force Niagara University all the way back. Now they have to wait for the players to come back before they're able to play a little bit more aggressive. And because of that, it seems like Redbeard is going to be going on that Reaper, which would be really interesting. A little bit more of that brawl style coming from the DPS lineup. Try to push everyone away from the damage that's coming from them.
Certainly going to make Firewolf's job a little bit harder. Niagara trying to tunnel into this mega room, but the Blizzard goes out. The Pulse Bomb catches the Moira coming in here. Niagara suffering in terms of these manpower right now. We're seeing Grub trying to deal that damage, but not going to be able to, as their teammate Firewolf just pushing that Winston away. And now Flanny winning the Diva duel with the help of a little bit of Lucio assistance. DC going into the pit.
Quinnipiac looking pretty good so far. They know exactly what abilities to use to win the fight, but they're not overextending. They are playing this very carefully, which is just showing how good of a dive they have so far. Niagara looks a little bit lost, but they do have the coalescence to push in forward, the Sunbearer as well, if it's needed from both sides. But this is the last opportunity that they have to build on to have a full fight.
Certainly might be the opportunity here. The Coalescence coming in. Niagara gonna be throwing it, trying to get themselves some sort of benefit. They start off early by taking down Broccoli. No sound barrier now available for Knipiak, although Knipiak trying to strike back. Cheese does get taken down. Apex trying their best to battle around their bubble. Eventually jumps back into the D.Va. D.Va almost sails her self-destruct into the bubble, but is going to be dropping right before that explosion. And it looks like Niagara might have already done the damage. That Reaper coming in from Redbeard certainly got the job done before being forced off the point by Maga. Maga now going to be dropping the Blizzard, locking down the Winston, locking down the Lucio. This is crucial. Niagara looking so good to win this fight, but off the back of that Blizzard, it looks like it might just flip around for them. Cheese throws in the tire, but the response from Broccoli is there with the sound barrier. This is going crazy, Dryad.
There's so much action going on that Shark trying to get a few picks, but doesn't get any. And the longer this goes, the more it's going to be in the penny up. Something has to happen now.
It certainly does. DC trying to do something, some high-flying acrobatics if they can make it happen. The Lucio sound barrier goes through, but Hazard only hits them and the Moira. No connection onto DC. Disconnect if you prefer. Knipiak now just needs to clean up the supports, and the rest of the team will follow suit. Firewolf helping that with a giant helping of those Primal Rage fists coming in, swinging big. Now trying to deal with the Reaper, trying to deal with the Winston. So far, Knipiak not really suffering any losses here. They're just barreling ahead, Dryad.
So much action still to the point, but no one's able to touch at the end from the side of Niagara University. So Knipiak University takes the point here. They're looking pretty good. That fight lasted way too long, but Niagara wasn't able to get the picks that they needed. And we know that here in Control, you need all 6 members to be able to win the point. So it was really tough for them. The engagement had to happen sooner, but now they have the opportunity to change the composition. This is what they're hinting at us so far, and it's what they need if they want to take those early picks and try to win. Knipiak is looking really, really strong.
I definitely have to agree. Niagara just looking a little bit distracted, a little bit kind of all over the place in that last round, Dryad.
Yeah, definitely, and especially when they did have the opportunity to use those engaging tools, to use that coalescence, it just didn't seem like it wasn't enough. It seemed like they weren't really targeting the heroes that they needed to focus on from the side of Knipiak University. That's why they take the advantage here. Now, they're changing the compositions for both of them. We're going to be seeing this Ryan's Heart. We know it's really classic on this point. This is another opportunity to see how Knipiak does with other compositions.
Well, already Maga getting a nice May wall out, going to be locking down that Moira. Aristalia not going to be able to get away, and because of that, Niagara already taking some losses. DC as well, quickly followed up by Broccoli. Apex now just trying to hold on to point for dear life, but you got to think this lone Reinhardt's not going to be long for this world. Getting swung on and getting lasered down. And indeed, they will fall. Knipiak getting an early point flip.
Even though we see Knipiak taking the point here, it seems like Niagara had a better idea of what they wanted to do. I do like seeing them more in this composition. We see Apex already has almost 90% on that Shatter, which is going to be really, really important. It could enable the team to play a little bit more aggressive, but it has to happen soon. Same thing like we saw on the other stuff map. A lot of aggression that has to happen from them to be able to push past this choke and try to make something happen here.
We're going to be seeing Cheese switch on to that Ashe, see if the long-range sharpshooter can find anything for it. Apex right now just trying to barrel through the wall, but again, Aristalia loses their life at the very end. The Earth Shatter goes out, doesn't really catch anything. Apex goes in for a charge to follow, and then just gets their life taken away from them. This is not going Niagara's way. They need to regroup. They're gonna back out and give themselves a moment to think.
This is the second time that we see Apex doing those charges that don't really get any value, and it's very, very risky, we know, with Reinhardt to do this. But in the meantime, we see Knipiak, it's just doing pretty good. That last pick into Ardesia is going to delay them a little bit more from the side of Niagara. Something has to happen. That Shatter didn't get any value, and there are no ults coming anytime soon. In the side of Knipiak, they're looking pretty good. Almost everything that they need to win here.
There may not even need to be any investment from the ults based off how Knipiak's been playing. Maga already sectioning off that Reinhardt. He has to make a mad getaway. Apex trying their best. It does come at the cost of Grub, but Knipiak will be swinging strong. Flenny tries to drop some people to their knees, does succeed in that fact as well. DC now the lone Zarya trying to keep themselves alive, but getting chased down by the opposing team. Going face first into Flanny's shield, decides to just hightail it out of there.
Definitely, and this is 90% for this side of Knipiak now. They haven't even used all of their ultimates that they have. This should be more than enough for them to clean here. Maga takes a pick into Zarya, so one of the tanks is gone. Last opportunity for them to do something.
And Grubba cleaning up onto Cheese, the pulse bomb into the grab. Not gonna net a whole lot, but you don't need a lot when everybody is dead. The sound barrier coming in as well just to secure things up, and Knipiak taking a dominant victory here on Ilios.
They look really, really strong. Actually, really surprising to see. We were talking about how we weren't really sure how they were going to perform, knowing that we haven't seen them as much compared to other teams in EGF, but they absolutely knew what they were doing, their compositions, everything that they played, it just worked perfectly from the side of Niagara. They didn't really have the target focus that you really needed into this composition, especially into control, but they have the opportunity to bring it back in the next maps. It's just not going to be easy. We saw a little bit of dive from them. We saw a little bit of that Ryan Saria as well, that brawl, if you can call it. And it just didn't work out. We saw about one ultimate for every single one of them, when it should be able to be at least 3. That's why we saw just Knipiak taking such a great advantage. They didn't even have to use their ultimate abilities to win.
Yeah, and it's a little bit of a question to me, Dryad, whether, is Niagara playing just a little bit looser than they need to, or is Knipiak focusing hyper-vigilantly on those things they can punish? Because I don't know if you noticed, but on Lighthouse, we saw the Moira get taken out first, I think 2 or 3 times in those fights. So very early on, just seems like Niagara wasn't able to bail out their support player, either unaware or unknowledgeable as to how to do that. That's something I think they really need to tighten up as we look ahead into our next few maps.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the things that I also noticed from the side of Niagara is how the tank line is playing a little bit more aggressive while the rest of the team is playing a little bit more passive. And this is going to be really, really conflicting coming to other maps, because you need, if you're going to play aggressive, you really need your supports, your DPS to help you out, to make sure that you're staying alive and that you're getting value out of playing aggressive. We saw the Ryan line we mentioned charging, and this could work. You can take a lot of examples of very aggressive main tanks that get a lot of value, but you definitely need your team to help you out, to come back and to make the damage come through. This is why we saw Apex actually building that shatter so fast. It was unfortunately not able to get any value with it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we saw a block coming in from their opponents or they just clipped the corner. I didn't quite catch it on that playthrough, but overall, yes, you can get the fastest Earth Shatters if you just go in ahead of your team, not giving them any cover and swinging big, but you need to get value with those Earth Shatters if that's absolutely the plan you're going to commit to. And so far, Niagara just not delivering on that front.
And I actually do think it's possible for control maps. It's very tough to see what's going to happen, and having that really understanding, maybe that synergy is not quite there for Team Niagara, but it could definitely happen at some point. So playing other maps, playing other type of map could be really, really good for them. Once again, just playing along with your Reinhardt, with your Saria, if it's necessary, should be more than enough for you to win fights. So you really, really want to see this from them coming up.
Yeah, a lot of opportunity here for Niagara to turn things around. I'm looking forward to it. Of course, we do have that disclaimer here that, control a little bit of the most deathmatchy style game modes. So if, there's a map you can shake off, it's probably going to be that control map. And what better map to kind of refresh your senses than Eichenwald?
I really, really like seeing Eichenwald from these two teams. It's going to be interesting, but the biggest challenge, it really seems like is going to be Niagara on that second round, trying to get to the point. For the defense, they have a really interesting composition. It should be working out, just making sure that no one is overextending. The Reinhardt is not charging. The Saria is staying alive with the energy, all those basic things that could enable them to win. Knipiak seems like a very aggressive team that knows how to target focus, so the control here shouldn't be too hard with the composition that they're playing.
Indeed, we'll see if that checks out here. Knipiak going to be the first on the attack as they now rush out of the gates. We see Cheese now on that Pharah, looking to just rain in some rockets, hitting the telephone pole, so it got taken down pretty effectively, but not too much damage onto the opposing team, however. As we look ahead, that Ashe from Maga trying their best to make sure that Cheese stays grounded. Not going to quite be able to as much as they might like. Maga taking quite a bit of damage, has to be playing very carefully now, and Apex doing a very good job, not pushing too far ahead, has to back up here as they take a huge amount of pressure, swinging perhaps a bit too vigorously. And now it's going to be the entire team of Niagara falling back, rather. It's just going to be the tank line that falls for now. It's going to be very tough for them to recover here. Knipiak pushing their advantage. We see Grub trying to take that air duel. It's going to be the Brig trying to hold themselves up to no avail. And with this, Knipiak looking good to take this first point so far, or at least get some progress.
They should be able to take the point here, and it was just that aggression right at the beginning that enabled them to do so. playing this Ryan Zarya mirror is going to enable them so much to play really, really close to each other. And that's why we saw at the end Apex trying to pull back, but it was unfortunately way too late. Now, well, this is a good start for them. The Scar is going to be really hard to counter. You do have Maga, but it doesn't seem to be getting as much value. That barrage coming up would be the best opportunity to try to hold the defense here.
And this is one of the weaknesses we're seeing out of Knipiak here. Maga taking a lot of damage, not getting that immediate heal, but you don't need the immediate heal if you just deliver when you are up and online. Aristalia taking down. And now Maga putting down a little bit of a delivery here. The Rocket Barrage coming in from Cheese, drops right onto the head of the Reinhardt. One will certainly be enough to so far turn the tides of this fight a little bit. Apex gets hit by the pulse bomb from Grub. It was looking good for Niagara. They had some moments there they just weren't able to carry.
Yeah, that was just an unfortunate situation that we see from the far. Now we're going to be seeing Red. We're going into the McCree. So making a few changes, knowing that the far didn't get as much value. He does get 2 picks at the beginning, but then with the massive ultimate advantage that Quinnipiac University had, it was just impossible to try to really do anything here. They should be able to hold here, though. They have Shatter. They keep getting picked one by one. This can't happen if they want to win here.
We'll see exactly what they can achieve. We see Cheese dropping right in onto that Ana, saying hello to your favorite grandmother, throwing the shots in, making sure she can't get any more healing, and Niagara now digging their feet and able to get the kills and delivering. This is excellent. Oh, Niagara!
Wait, what did he just witness? Okay, 5 minutes, 20 seconds. Really interesting the way that they all control her in Niagara University. They were looking pretty good. That was just unfortunate to see happening from them. They still have a few opportunities here, but they have so much time from the side of Quinnipiac that is not going to be easy to hold the defense. That Valkyrie Tenacious would be ideal. Then mixing up with the Shatter, these should take at least 2 fights for Quinnipiac to win 1 by 1, and just like that, they should be able to win here.
A big anti-nade coming in from Broccoli. Going to be having the entirety of Niagara back up just a little bit. The Valkyrie after it is worn off to keep everybody up. Apex has to drop, has to back up as they do suffer a lot of HP down. Fletty throws in the Earth Shatter, not quite able to find a whole lot. DC, however, running headfirst into Bob. Does end up losing their life, followed by Aristalia. Now it's going to be Quinnipiac, who has the opportunity to keep pushing here, to keep getting these kills despite Cheese trying to blast out on that Reaper.
Once it passes corner, it's going to be once again really challenging for the defense is trying to make something happen. Still a lot of time remaining, and Fredbear does have that ultimate ability, but it's not going to be easy to try to get any value, especially with this Tracer pocketing over and over again, making sure that you're taken down, not getting any value of their abilities.
Apex having to wait before they dive in, eventually does go for it, but the healing nade comes in to keep everybody alive. Cheese drops the Death Blossom, and does find Cookie, so that Mercy now going to be out of the fight. It will buy Niagara just a little bit of time, knowing that the full force isn't going to be there from Quinnipiac, but that's just going to wear down the time bank a little bit. There's still a very dominable force to be dealt with here. Niagara now going to be working on just cleaning up these few remaining members from Quinnipiac. Quinnipiac looking to just hold until they can get the regroup going. The McCree goes down. This is a good opportunity for this attacking team. And Anti-Nade now hitting onto Niagara ensures that they're going to be taking a little bit more pain going forward. The grab right in front of Bob's going to be locking everybody down, putting them right into the hurt box. Haidu trying to come out from Breadbeard. Can't find a whole lot. That shield is just being steadfast from Flanny. Not able to get a whole lot done here, Triad. This is a little bit of chaos.
So much damage coming through, but it seems like Quinnipiac is getting what they want. The last kill is coming through for them, and this Tiger will try to come through the rally, but it might be just too late.
Can Hazard deliver with this rally? It's going to finally wear off Cheese, one of the last remaining members to stand on point. Nobody really close to too many ultimates a step from Aristalia. Trying to come in with that Moira Coalescence at some point. The sleep right onto the Reaper. Cheese going to be taken down with a big pin. No surprise there. The Earth Shadow to clean up Hazard on the follow. Aristalia now going to be using that Coalescence, trying to keep their team alive, but the anti-nade for DC has other plans. They have to back up, use that Ryan shield. Eventually they do fall. So does Aristalia. Now the cleanup seems all but sure here, but Niagara, if they're looking at positives, bought quite a bit of time off the clock.
2 minutes, 32 seconds remaining from the side of Quinnipiac on the attack. They did really, really good. That C9 was definitely something that we're just... One time we're used to seeing in Overwatch, but it just hurts so much. Now I'm just excited to see if Niagara can. I like the pressure that we saw at the end coming from them. They were looking pretty good. Cheese it also in the backline, and just doing really, really good, but just unfortunately just wasn't enough for them. But the pressure that they had at the end was enough to have that synergy going that it was kind of missing. So a lot of opportunities that it seems like this team has, they do have the potential, but they're just not there quite yet. Holding the attack, being really, really aggressive here, like you want to see in the Brawl composition, would be ideal for them. It just has to happen before, because you're letting Quinnipiac engage before your team is able to do, and that's what is affecting them so much. That's why Quinnipiac is getting all the ultimate abilities first, and they're able to do whatever they want when they know they have the initial pick.
We'll see if Niagara can perhaps turn their fortune just a little bit here. As we look, Grub going to be on that Hanzo, so it's going to be on to Niagara to watch out for those long-range headshots. Nothing more infuriating than getting taken out of the fight from 100 meters out.
Yeah, and I think Grub did have a good performance when we saw, but it was just getting counter over and over again, and you hate to see this, especially on the McCree when we saw also just any hero that we've seen play the far, they have been countered over and over again. But Grub has a big opportunity here. That one-shot potential that Hanzo gives you could be what Quinnipiac needs here to try to get more value out of the composition.
We see Cheese lining up with the teleporter, takes a body shot, I believe, from the Hanzo. Teleporter going to be putting everybody right onto this bridge, but Grub sees it coming, gets the headshot, gets the second. Alrighty, this fight's looking so good. It's going to be Breadbeard just walking right by the Hanzo, not taking advantage of that opportunity, getting chased down, and now the Shimada just lining up the shot. Breadbeard getting killed on exit.
3 kills for Grub, looking pretty good on the hand, so definitely we can see why he decided to go with this pick for the defense. Niagara University still has a lot of time, so they should be comfortable with trying to build those ultimates. It's going to be essential for them here. That Coalescence would be the engaging tool that they need, especially taking into account the composition of where they're running. That it's not really a full composition. We see a little bit of that Windstone with the speed, but the Reinhardt as well going on Earth. So much that's going on that they need to make something happen with the aggressiveness here.
Speaking of that aggressiveness, Breadbeard going to be pushing right up into Magam, making them drop off of that high ground. And Apex now trying to just get a lot of cleave damage in from that small hallway, but they are currently the ones being funneled in. Quinnipiac still holding these long-range angles. Grub not finding as much success this time around, and eventually Quinnipiac will be able to get some kills if some big burst doesn't come through, and it does come through in the form of the storm arrows. Apex getting taken down, followed by Breadbeard, and now it's looking like Quinnipiac suffered a loss, but they'll still be able to recoup just a little bit, especially if that pin on the Cheese has anything to say about it.
Grub is looking so good, and just like that, they should be able to hold here. The Coalescence coming through, but is unfortunately going to be way too late. Using the Coalescence after your team has been taken down is not going to be beneficial. We were talking about how it has to be used as an engaging tool and not so late into the fight when there's not even anyone you can heal. So a big mistake that we see from this team. Again, they still have 1 minute 50 seconds. There's still a lot of opportunities to come through. That parameter wage, that shatter, that also would be the best opportunity to get a few kills coming through. But with Quinnipiac's defense and with Grub and the Hanzo, it just seems impossible.
And certainly it does, and now they're going to be staring down the barrel of a Storm Dragon coming here soon. But Grub just taking down Cheese the good old-fashioned way with, 6 arrows fired in rapid succession. DC going to be throwing in the Earth Shatter, doesn't find a whole lot. Apex going a bit too deep, not able to back up the rest of their team, stuck in the grab. It's going to be DC taken down because of that, and Apex not really able to find a whole lot for it themselves, getting too far ahead. Seems to be the storyline of these tanks that we've been seeing so far. Quinnipiac does manage to lose 1, so if the respawns come in from Niagara, they may be able to reclaim, but with Apex dropping, doesn't seem likely.
The good main wall that we saw because of that, now they're going to be playing a little bit more aggressive, but they have the confidence. 1 minute remaining, and the kills keep coming through for the side of Quinnipiac University. They know exactly how to play this. That Mercy is going to be staggered. No.
Ooh, that is an expensive stagger coming through, and this might be even more so if Apex doesn't avoid those lines of sight. Grub, not one to be messed with on that Hanzo.
Definitely, and this is one less opportunity that they have if they want to have a full fight for this side of Niagara, but it's not looking easy. That Blossom, it's ready, so both of the DPS ultimates are going to be to use, but they have to get some value, and it has to happen now.
And speaking of that value, the Earth Shatter's going to come in, gets 4. Niagara already looking to be cleaned up pretty big. I said value, I didn't say who for. Quinnipiac able to get some huge benefit for that. And now it's going to be a Grub getting the D-Mech as well. The attack. Visor coming in from Cheese, but just gets whittled down by those May Icicles. Maga taking them down. The Dragons across the bow of Spawn. Nobody can get out with the May wall to block. This looks like it's about it.
And that was such an unfortunate situation because, once again, for Niagara, it seemed like they were able to do something right at the end with the ultimate advantage, but it just didn't quite happen. Kunibia looking pretty good. They are taking the advantage. They are going to match point. They know exactly how to play. Really, really shows the synergy that they have.
Overall, definitely have to agree here. The big grab coming in from Firewolf, ensuring that everybody just stays locked down, stays where they're at, nobody gets away clean.
Everyone overall from the side of Knipia just had some moments where they really popped off, where they really knew what they wanted to do, and it just showed over and over again. Once again, for the side of Niagara, they look a little bit lost into how to play the composition because you are playing the right heroes sometimes, but you need to be the one who's being more aggressive, especially when you're attacking. When you have that Dead Blossom and that Tactical Visor again, that's the best opportunity that they have to push in. Unfortunately, it just didn't quite happen, but they do have the opportunity to bring it back.
Certainly do. Definite opportunity here, but while we're talking about unfortunate things, Dryad, we do have to go to a little bit of a break, but don't cry, viewers at home. We will be back in just a few moments, so stick around, catch the end of this game. Welcome back, everybody. Just hopping in with a few replays here while we are waiting for these teams to get settled off the back end of our break. A little bit of action here, and Dryad, this is one of the moments where I thought Niagara might really be able to turn things around with that Far Rocket Barrage. Has so many good opportunities here for this team.
They really had a few opportunities, like you mentioned, that barrage. It seems like it was exactly what they needed. I was actually a little bit surprised that we saw that swap coming through right away. I mean, that's a decision that you make with your team, but they did seem to have a little bit of a better understanding there. The DPS lineup from the side of Niagara is one of the strongest coming into this matchup, but it just unfortunately didn't really get as much value as they wanted to. This is why we see Kunibia now on a 2-0, looking pretty good, pretty confident for the next map.
Yeah, and that last clip, just in case you didn't see it, there's still some very strong performances coming out of Knipiak. I mean, Grub throwing in some headshots as Hanzo. It always warms my heart to see some mechanical play like that.
Yeah, Hanzo is one of the heroes that when you see a really good Hanzo, it's just from the enemy team. It's just so annoying to have to deal with every time when the Hanzo's getting headshots over and over again. And that's exactly what we saw from them. So we could see a little bit of frustration coming from the start of Niagara, but like we mentioned, they do have the opportunity to adapt, to figure out if they want to run another composition for the next map. And this is why we are going to be going to what could be potentially the last map, but then again, still the opportunity for Niagara to try to figure it out. We are seeing already the Reinhardt, that Zarya, so already a sign of what could be played here.
Yeah, certainly a little bit of an indicator, perhaps. Knipiak will be off to start on the attack here. And now, as we look ahead, I do like the Junkrat coming out here from Breadbeard. I think that Junkrat, has some viability on Anubis, more so than perhaps some of the other assault maps.
Junkrat for the defense is a very, very popular pick that we see teams sometimes decide to play with it. And I once again, I agree with you. I really, really like it as well. They can also have a lot of damage coming through, and that could delay the aggressiveness that we see from the side of Quinnipiac University, who just seems unstoppable. But we do see Maja is going to be playing the Widowmaker, so make sure that you don't have your hit out because you might get just killed.
And it's going to be up to Cheese to get the first kill, and in fact, they do. Things already looking great for Niagara, at least a little bit better, but they're getting these lost trades going back and forth. Knipiak does suffer a two-man anti-nade, will eventually result in a couple of losses, but Knipiak has that opportunity to respawn, get back a little bit faster, and get their members onto point. Yes, the trades are going slightly in favor of Niagara, at least they were, but Knipiak, again, just able to get their reinforcements on the board faster.
Berkeley also showing us a new side of the support lineup from the side of Knipiak. This Nyata performing really well, gets 2 picks at the end of those final blows. Cookie has also been doing pretty good. But just like that, Maga gets another pick into Hearts, in addition to have that potential for the snowball that we know this map for.
We see Maja up on high, but she's too busy fighting with them. Doesn't see Grub coming in, who just pelts them down with the Tracer shot. Grub does take an Earthshatter for their efforts, but Apex losing their life as soon as the kills come through. Knipiak now looking very dominant, so close to getting some more progress on this second point. They will be getting the first tick, now looking for perhaps the second. Self-destruct trying to come in from plenty, just buy a little bit more time on the point. It will be enough to lock it down. Round 1 complete in under about 3.5 minutes.
5 minutes, 30 seconds that are remaining because it's going to round T. For the side of Niagara University, the defense was looking a little questionable just because of that positioning wasn't looking as good. You see, they started getting taken down one by one, and Broccoli and Listenyata is something that we didn't see. Another hidden opportunity that they had to win. Performed really, really well. They didn't even have to use their ultimate abilities to get to second point, and that really shows the dominance that this team is having.
Definitely tend to agree on that point. A continued strong showing coming in from Knipiak. And now the question is going to be, more likely than not, can Niagara even finish Anubis? Right? It's not at this point, based on their performance, can they finish with a similar time bank to Knipiak? That seems a little bit lofty, if I'm being sincere. The question is now, can they get that second point just unlocked and capped before the timer runs out? That's going to be their end goal here.
Yeah, it seems like it's not going to be easy, but it's definitely possible. It all depends on the composition and once again how aggressive they decide to play. They're letting Quinnipiac play a little bit more aggressive, take the first picks, and just like that, that's the way that they're winning. Niagara has to try to engage a little bit more and make sure that they're getting value out of their composition. From what we see from them, they might be running this Reaper, which I really, really like, a big opportunity to get a few picks, to really play into the enemy's faces and get more value out of it. So this should be an interesting match.
Now, as we see Niagara trying to go through here, they're going with the Sim again. This didn't work out for Cheese so well last time. It doesn't work out this time either. Cheese, again, the first one taken down as they come out of the teleporter. Apex finds one with a big charge, no surprise there. However, does get a couple shots in from Maja, and it's going to be enough to secure this fight so far for Knipiak. Things are looking great for them so far.
Apex tried to jump to point right at the end, but unfortunately just way too late. The rest of the team was taken down. So the defense holds, and they do it pretty well, but no ultimate abilities just yet for any of the two sides. So big opportunities for Niagara to try to take the advantage here, especially on the side of the attack, because once you've got Cornipia going, it seems like they are unstoppable. So try to get more value. Cheese it actually going to the soldier. I also like this.
Let's see if the soldier will net too much, trying to just right now drill into that Reinhardt shield. The pin coming in from Apex lands right onto Firewolf. This might be the opening that Niagara needed, but nope, it's going to be the Earthshatter coming in from Flanny to stop everybody from moving forward with the capitalization. Flanny just holding the shield firm, and it looks like Niagara doesn't really know how to deal with it. Grub now going to be sent on a mission into the back lines, trying to clean up, succeeds in finding Cheese. As now it's going to be the rest of Knipiak just trying to hold their own and succeeding as Niagara falls.
Just like that, once again the defense holds pretty well, and Rob is able to play a little bit more aggressive, trying to meld the tanks like we love seeing from this Tracer, and a really, really good performance from this DPS lineup that has enabled them to hold the position that they have over and over again. Niagara University has to have something going for them. The Coalescence has to come through really, really soon if they really want to get this point, but Maja just keeps getting picks, doing so good on this lineup, and also getting the support from the Mercy.
A very good opportunity here. Niagara does trade one back. Grub gets taken down, but they'll still have to likely wait for Hazard before they can get that radial healing off. Apex has the Earth Shadow, goes for it, but Flatty just holds a shield firm, counter shatters, and takes down Aristalia out of that Coalescence. A costly maneuver there, but it will be working out in Knipiak's favor. Just continue to swing for the fence, get those kills, and now it's Niagara looking a little bit worse for wear here.
But a lot of ultimate abilities that were used from the side of Cornipia on the defense here. So if you want to take the advantage and you're Niagara, this is a big opportunity to do so. That Blossom should be coming soon. So even teleporting to the backline, you know, that strategy that we see sometimes happening here in Overwatch. They teleport to all the way to the back and then try to get a few picks. That might be just enough to get the first point, but it just has to happen as soon as possible, or they're not going to have enough time for another fight.
We're now hearing those info sites coming out from Maja, locking down the location of everybody on Niagara, whether through walls or not. I mean, Maja trying to take these shots. Kills do go onto Maja, but that is the only loss for Knipiak so far. They are up in manpower by exactly one, if you prefer. Niagara now trying to rotate onto point. They're finding some success with it. They are finding the Zenyatta as well, although Apex gonna look like they're the last hog to survive. Not much to be done there. Whiffs the hook right into the Zarya bubble. The cleanup there is short and sweet for Knipiak.
30 seconds remaining. You have the Primal Rage, you have the Death Blossom. So many opportunities here that Riley might be coming soon. So it has to happen now if it's not going to be possible. Knipiak looking really good on this defense, but they are not unbreakable. It really has to happen. That Transcendence will be coming through, so getting a peek into the supports might be just enough for them.
We'll certainly see. It's going to be the McCree taken down. The Death Blossom coming in. Niagara gets Breadbeard taken down rather quickly. That means that the Death Blossom not going to be able to find anything, and the Primal Rage Winston just caught and grab a giant stick pin. Overtime going to slowly burn down. Nobody able to touch. And with that, Knipiak taking this in a clean 3-0 sweep.
Really, really good 3-0 from the side of Cornipia. They knew exactly how to play the compositions that they wanted to run. The synergy definitely going on and taking the control that when we were looking at the standings and how they're performing before, we already had a hint that this was exactly what's going to happen. The 2-0 that they had before, now you make it a 3-0 into their victory against other teams. And it shows the dominance. They're going to be one of the strongest teams here in EGF.
Yeah, and so far, I think if you're Niagara, you walk away from this, I guess, match with a lot of tape to review, a lot of ways in which you kind of have highlighted that you can improve upon, whether it's positioning, whether it's ult usage, ult tracking. There's a lot of things that they're going to be able to move forward, hopefully improve themselves on in the future, and we see a stronger, better Niagara coming out of the woodworks. However, for today, it was Knipiak who takes the win.
Yeah, definitely. So, like you mentioned, Ever still has a lot of opportunities to learn, and they did have some really good signs, especially from the side of the DPS line. Yeah, they were looking pretty strong, but unfortunately, it just wasn't enough. They still have another opportunity in the future, so definitely keep an eye on that of this team. And this is one of your favorites. Just know that it's not over yet.
Not quite over just yet. And speaking of not quite over, we are going to be taking it to another quick break, but then we will be right back with a interview. So you guys aren't going to want to miss that. Stick around. We'll be back at it. Hello and welcome back, everybody. And as promised, we do have a special little interview for all of you at home. It's going to be none other than Firewolf from Knipiak. Firewolf, hello. Congratulations on your win. And we do have a few questions here if you don't mind answering them.
Yeah, of course. And thanks for congratulating me.
Oh, no problem. But starting off, I don't think it's irresponsible of me to say that you guys looked pretty dominant in this match. Was that kind of a result of you guys, studying a lot of tape, or was it just kind of another average day in the office for you guys?
We watched Niagara's game last week, and we were obviously practicing throughout the week, but we weren't expecting too much trouble. We just watched like some of their compositions and prepared accordingly.
Okay.
Yeah, that directly connects into what I wanted to ask you. So, preparing to the compositions, how does your team play? We see teams that, they're really good at the composition. They're like, we're going to force it against anything else. And there are other teams that kind of adapt depending on their enemy. You seem to be one of those teams that kind of adapt. Is this true? Or is there just a composition that you try to force a little bit more?
We definitely we definitely do adapt on the fly. Like, we play a lot of Diva Winston dive. We play a lot of Zarya Reinhardt like brawl comps. So those are like our two normal comps. But if we have to, we'll flex here and there. Like if we have to adapt.
And then how is your preparation for these matches? So you said you were watching the VOD from Niagara, trying to figure out what they were running, but is there something else? Is there something that maybe the DPS lineup, the support lineup does, especially maybe some warm-up, maybe you meet an hour before, scrims, how does that work for you?
So once a week, we have scrims. We go up against a bunch of friends who are like much higher skill ceiling than us. Most of the time, doesn't go very well, but for us at least. But it definitely helps us out because we tell them to run the compositions of our enemies this week, and they're like really good at those compositions. So we learn how to adapt from those scrims, and then usually before our game, we'll get on maybe like an hour and a half early and play some ranked or quick play to warm up.
Yeah, because one of the things that the synergy that was going for your team was definitely was helping you out too much when you were playing that Ryan and Saria, and everyone has to play really together to make it work. So, how long also have you been with the team? How has this been? How has the synergy been going for you? And the connection that you have, you say that you play with friends, you play your ranked. This is really really important. But how long has this been going on?
This has been going on for maybe a little over a month. Like right now, we have 3 tank players, and we're obviously 2 of them are being fielded at a time. So we're trying to build synergy between like each duo, if that makes sense. And it's been working out really, really well.
Okay, and then I have one last question for you. So, out of your team and out of everyone who played today, who do you think would be the one that you would highlight the most that you think was helping your team so much? Could it be the tanks creating space? It could be the DPS, just getting the pigs, the supports, always just making sure that you're alive. Who do you think had the best performance here?
I think we all played really, really well. Our tanks were always making space. Our DPS were using the space they had, and our supports were always there to keep us up. But you probably remember there was one team fight on Eichenwald where there might have been a back cap on point B. So as that fight was going on, we were down 2 people, so we were like, okay, let's reset. But then we hear Grub call out, I'm on the cart, I'm back capping, and I'm like, are they gonna turn around and notice it? And then next thing you know, he capped the point, and we were like, oh, okay.
Yeah, excellent moment there. I could literally hear the sound of my jaw hitting the floor there, Firewolf, when that happened. Entertaining to see as always, but Firewolf, that is about it for us. Do want to give you the opportunity, however, to shout out, anybody maybe outside the team, coaching staff, your mom, whoever that you think deserves a little bit of extra shout out.
I guess just appreciate everyone watching EGF Overwatch in general. Overwatch is a really fun game. Also wanted to thank the team for putting a lot of practice into this.
Okay.
So, yeah, thanks.
Well, fantastic. Once again, Firewolf, thank you for coming in, answering a few of our questions. And once again, congratulations on your 3-0 victory over Niagara.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me.
Now, Dryad, we turn our eyes towards the next game that will be happening here in just a little bit. And, I don't know if you're in the same boat as I am, but I'm hoping for a few more maps, so to speak, so we can get a little bit more casting time in, so we can get some more Overwatch action going. But that will be after a short break, folks, so make sure you stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss it.